Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. We got lots and lots to discuss. A major issue in the National Hockey League that the league, it's the GM meetings. I guarantee you they won't even discuss it. Everybody in the league is oblivious to it. I don't even think they know how bad this is because they've just kind of gotten used to it. It gradually just has crept in and gotten worse and worse and worse. And they're just oblivious to it. And I'll tell you, if they don't rectify it soon, it's going to become an even bigger problem, which might surprise you. I didn't think it could be bigger, but it is. And so what's the problem? I'll tell you. It's the inability to actually call penalties. Simple. Watch the game between Chicago. It was a 6-2 game. It's a blowout game. If anything, the refs should be on higher alert that something dirty or cheap is going to happen. Jason Dickinson has a blindside, blatant hit from the behind on Philip Hedl. Right into the board. Hits him right in the freaking numbers. He didn't turn. He did nothing. Dickinson took a good 10, 20, 15 foot run at him. Not even a minor penalty. And guess what? Hedl's out with a concussion now. And now, the Canuck player, and you know what? Dickinson didn't even step on the ice after. What a gutless puke. I'm sorry to tell you, it's gutless. But guess what? The NHL likes it. Hey, we don't need to call penalties. Because, quote, we don't want to impact the game, except you do impact the game. So through 1,038 games this year, compared to the first 1,038 games last year, we've seen 747 fewer penalties. Right? Fewer power play opportunities for teams. So right now, if you look at power play chances per team, there are two teams who are above 3 per game. That's it. In 2009, not that long ago, you had every team in the NHL above 3.4. Every team. Now, the team that gets the most power plays would still be worse than the team that had the fewest back in 2009. And if you go back other years, it's monumentally lower. Ever since they've tracked it. It's ridiculous. Ottawa leads at 3.26. St. Louis is the only, and St. Louis is last. They're getting 2.26 per game. There's 2 teams over 3. It's asinine on what they do. And I actually broke it down per team to illustrate it. Because that's when you might get a GM's attention. Hey, wait a sec. My team's getting screwed over. So in the Eastern Conference, the teams that have had seen the biggest reduction in power plays, Detroit, 38 fewer PPs. The Flyers, 38. Rangers, 35. Those are 3. Now, the East, that seems like nothing if you compare it to the West. So brace yourself, fans of Western Conference teams. Now, remember, this isn't based on all of last year. This is just based on the exact equal amount of games played up until this point. I went through every team. So if your team played 68, I looked at their number through 68 games last year, et cetera, et cetera. So, Minnesota Wild, 60 fewer power plays. That's like 1 a game. They played 67 games. St. Louis Blues, 56. Vegas, 55. Chicago, 49. LA, 48. Colorado, Nashville, 41. Edmonton, 34. You have 8 of the top 11 teams in fewer power play chances this year compared to last residing in the Western Conference. And not a little bit of a drop, significant drop. Like, it's just so, like, it's mind-blowing to me. I don't understand it. And the NHL is just like, whatever. We're good. Geez, goals are down, but we're not sure why. We need to do a real deep investigation. Okay, it took me an hour to figure it out. This isn't hard. And when you see that Dickinson play, and you go back, you can watch other games. I watched this weekend. I made sure to watch a period of games. And now I don't have a bias. I don't really care. But I made sure to watch as many different teams as I could this weekend. And it's not like, oh, look at this team. They're the only team that gets screwed over. No, it happens every team, every game, where there are clear penalties that aren't being called. Why? Now, I could see if you miss the odd one, 747 fewer penalties from one year to the next. They're on pace to be probably 1,000 fewer power play opportunities. You all watch the game. Are you telling me, oh, gee, no. They're way more disciplined, man. Way smarter. They're way more disciplined. Oh, really? They all got that much smarter in one offseason? All the new rookie players coming in, they're like, oh, I know how to take less penalties. I don't hook anybody. I don't instruct anybody. Now, they're going, and you know what I do? I can hit guys from behind because the league doesn't want to call it. It's the one thing they probably figured out. Anybody who watched that, like, I'm sorry. But if I was a Canuck fan, I'd be livid. That was so beyond stupid that wasn't a penalty call in that game. So we'll talk about that throughout the show today. Also, Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl, Oiler fans, maybe a good thing. You have the opportunity, if you're at the game tomorrow night, to see Leon Draisaitl score his 50th goal of the season. When he does, now they got 3 home games this week. Pretty good chance he's going to score in one of them. When he scores his 50th goal of the season, he is going to join some pretty exclusive clubs. First of all, he'll become the 15th player in NHL history to have 4 seasons with 50 goals. Draisaitl, Michel Goulet, Tim Kerr, and Yari Curry all did it 4 times. Pavel Bure, Phil Esposito, Steve Yzerman, Bobby, and Brett Hall did it 5. Marcel Dion, Guy Lafleur, Mario Lemieux 6 times. Mike Bossy, Wayne Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin 9 times. Now you look at Draisaitl. How many more 50-goal seasons does he have in his career? 1 or 2 at least, you would think. It's probably going to get into 6, which makes it even better territory. Now, here's the other one, though, that's even more rare. So guys can score goals. It's hard to score goals. It's hard to be a 50-goal scorer and a guy who's a good passer. So when Draisaitl scores that elusive 50th goal, it'll be the 4th time in his career he's had 50 goals and 50 assists in the same season. Joining Curry and Ovechkin, they've done it 4 times. Esposito and Yzerman 5. Dion, Lafleur, Lemieux 6. Bossy 7. Gretzky 8. So you look at, he'll become the 11th guy, the 10th player to do it at least 4 times. It is hard to be that elite. Now, keep in mind, in the salary cap era, when Draisaitl does it, that'll be the 17th time a player's done it. Him and Ovechkin have each done it 4 times. So there's 8, basically half of them. Danny Heatley did it twice. And then you've got Crosby, LeCavalier, McDavid, Pasternak, Matthews, Rantanen, McKinnon. Like, all really good players who have done it 1 time. It is really hard to do. And Draisaitl kind of makes it look easy. He is the best passer shooter of his era, the best one we've seen. Really, so you got to go back, like Ovechkin, sure he did it 4 times, but Draisaitl's going to do it at least once more. You got to go back to guys like in the 70s and 80s, right? Mario Lemieux did it in the 90s a few times. Like, it is impressive what you're watching. So if you get to go to the game tomorrow night, you might be, you're going to see Draisaitl join a pretty rare club. He also extended his point streak to 18 games, joins Yari Curry, who had an 18-gamer, Paul Coffey, a 28-gamer, and then Gretzky, he did it 8 times, where he had 18 point streak or higher, all the way up to 51. So pretty good streak here for Draisaitl. Opportunity to extend that if he gets a point in all 3 home games up to 21. Actually, they play 4 home games because they play 3 in a row, then they have a day off, then they play at home again. Then they're into Seattle, then back home to Calgary. So 5 of their next 6 at home. Not a lot of travel for the Oilers, just one little road trip to Seattle and back. They would fly out on the Wednesday, play Thursday, fly back. So good stretch of 2 weeks where they'll be at home. And they got to keep playing well. Solid performances the last few games. Offense still needs a little bit of work. They created some chances yesterday, missed the net on some of their best chances, but they got some guys. Arvidsson scores a big goal. Nugent Hopkins gets 3 assists. They much needed game from him. I thought Jake Wallman was excellent yesterday. I thought Evan Bouchard had a solid game defensively. There was lots to like in that win over the Rangers and even the Islanders. Draisaitl comes up big as he always seems to this year, because Draisaitl right now leads the NHL in goals, leads the NHL in even strength goals, leads the NHL in power play goals, leads them in game-winning goals, and he's tied for overtime goals at 5. Like, he is having an unreal season for him. So, and we got a loaded show to discuss. Dylan Guenther, forward for Utah, will join us. We got John Kelly. We'll go to St. Louis. The Blues, baby. The wild card race in the West is heating up, and the Blues are looking good. And they got the best the best remaining schedule by far down the stretch. So we'll talk to John about that. We're going to talk a little Bengals as they get both of their receivers, Connor Halley. Were you surprised that Chase is, not just Chase, but also Higgins, both back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we know how good that team can be. You give them their weapons. I'm surprised only because I thought after seeing how last year went, they might want to invest some money maybe in the offensive line or maybe on the defense and let T. Higgins walk. But the second they give him that franchise tag that was going to cost them $26 million, you kind of got the idea that they're going to run it back and do their best to make it all happen. But my goodness, good day to be one of those receivers. Jamar Chase, now the highest paid non-quarterback. He takes the title. And for T. Higgins, very good money as well. Going to make over, $115 million in the next 4 years. If I had to guess, I would say Higgins does not play all 4 years of that contract. At one point, it gets to be too expensive. But if that's their strategy and they want to load up offensively, good for them. I don't think it's going to result in winning football games, especially in that division.
Well, they're going to need some defense, man. Right? They're going to need some defense. I don't know, maybe an offensive line.
Yep.
Just an idea. So
could be fun though, Gregor. If you like the over and a lot of points, like we could get some entertaining football.
Well, you've seen that. Yes, they've had that, but yeah, they're gonna have to do some unreal. If they don't, I would just draft all offensive and defensive linemen if I'm the Bengals. Like, why even draft a receiver for the next few years? There's no reason to. Right? You can go sign a free agent receiver, but don't waste a draft pick on a receiver if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. That to me would be absolute foolishness.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, how many quality receivers are in the draft too? If you don't need to get one before day 3. You can get one in the 7th round, especially with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase demanding the looks they're going to get from defenses. Like, that offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, they've got some holes they need to address, and it's on the other side of the football, I would say.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox. We will hear from Dylan Guenther. Obviously, we'll get your thoughts on the Oilers. A few wins and everybody calms down a little bit, which is to be expected. They also got some help on the out-of-town scoreboard. Did you see Thomas Hertl? Oh. So Vegas was leading in Buffalo on Saturday. Thomas Hertl's coming down the right side, empty net. He's got a step on the defenseman, and then he inexplicably tries a behind-the-back pass to one of his teammates. It gets knocked down, and 15, 20 seconds later, the Sabres tie the game with 13 seconds to go to overtime, and then they win in a shootout. So it cost Vegas a point. Then Vegas goes into Detroit yesterday, gets shut out 3-0. And now, suddenly, the Oilers are 4 back of Vegas, same amount of games played. Now, L.A. is a point back of the Oilers, and they got 2 games in hand on both the Oilers and Vegas. So, you know what? The race for first place is heating up. Race for home ice for both the first and second place team is right there. And you consider that the Minnesota Wild are limping down the stretch. Like, they are leaking oil. You ever see a race and, the car's like just sputtering, trying to get across the finish line? Or maybe you've seen it, one of those marathon runners, they're running the marathon, and they get down to like the final 100 meters, and they're like Kramer when he's doing the walk after an all-nighter. They're just like barely going. That's what the Minnesota Wild are right now. They are sputtering. And whoever wins the Pacific is most likely going to face Minnesota. Now, could they get caught? I guess it's possible that one of the teams, Vancouver, Calgary, St. Louis, and Utah, the one of them or two of them, I guess, catch Minnesota, not just one, two for them to fall out of it. I guess it could happen, but probably not. But that's a team I'd have no problem taking on them. You'd much rather take on Minnesota than have to play LA or Vegas. No question. So there's lots on the line in the Pacific Division. So we'll get to all of that. And tomorrow, do not expect Utah to come in and just roll over. Utah has put themselves right in the mix. Their first year in the NHL in Utah, and they are in a playoff race. Vancouver, 73 points, 67 games. St. Louis, 73 points, 68 games. Calgary, 71 points, 65 games. So they got the most. And then Utah also has 71 points. So they're all within 2 points. Calgary's got 17 games left. Vancouver and Utah have 15, and the Blues have 14. So it's going to be a hell of a race. We'll talk to former Edmonton Oil King, member of the Utah Hockey Club, Dylan Gunther, next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Here's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
This is going to make you hungry. Booster Juice just dropped new guacamole and black bean grilled fresh options.
What the guac?
Yeah, a guacamole black bean wrap, guacamole chicken panini, and an egg and chipotle black bean wrap.
What a trio! Holy guacamole!
Bye-bye, boring as bread sandwiches.
Guac, yeah! New flavors, new cravings.
Avocado up to wraps and paninis from Booster Juice. Canadian-born blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
The rock you love never dies. It lives on at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents the Classic Rock Reunion.
I am so into you.
Featuring Pure Prairie League, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Orleans, and Firefall. The Classic Rock Reunion. May 17th at the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Tickets start at just $69.99 at rivercreeresort.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a Monday afternoon, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Also, we'll talk a little March Madness. How many are you going to fill out a bracket? Why not? I know Conman and Brandon have theirs going again on Fantasy Frenzy, and your opportunity to show them what you know, or maybe what you don't. Depends on how you look at it, but it's always lots of fun. And the tournament, I guess, gets going tomorrow with some of the play-in games. And then, of course, Thursday and Friday, Saturdays. And if you're a sports fan, that's some of the best sporting days of the year. It's just end-to-end action. Cons, if people want to get in on your pool, how do they do it?
Very simple. You can text in 1-833-414-1440, or you just e-transfer Brandon $10. It's Brandon at sports1440.ca. Winner is going to get half the prize. The other half is going to go to SACE this year. So the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, it's $10 to Brandon at sports1440.ca, and include your email in the memo so he can provide you the rest of the info.
And then you'll get your you get to fill out your bracket, and away you go. So it's they got to be in by when?
Start of the tournament. Brandon, I think he says the deadline Thursday morning.
So if
you really want to squeeze in,
if you want to wait. Because some people they don't like to fill it out because, hey, who knows? Maybe the team who wins on Tuesday could actually pull off although it's not necessarily an upset sometimes. I guess technically it is, but we see a lot of those 11 seeds. I still don't understand that. Like, how are you in the play-in round and then you win, you get to be an 11 seed, but not, I don't get it. But anyway, like a 15 seed. Why isn't that 15 seed that's already in? Why aren't they in? It's weird to me. Anywho, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice. It's that time of the year, championship season, as the JPHL players chase the Prospects Cup. You have 105 teams in the SHL vying for the title, and the Female Super League Championship is ongoing as well. You can watch all the action at silentice.com. And we are joined now by a former member of the Edmonton Oil Kings. He is now, of course, a member of the Utah Hockey Club, who I've heard rumblings that they've chosen a moniker. They've just yet to announce it, but it is coming. He was the 9th overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft. Had a very good season last year with 18 goals, 35 points in 45 NHL games. And this year, even better, 24 goals, 48 points in 55 games. From Edmonton, Dylan Gunther joins us. Dylan, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
Sweet. Thanks for having me on. That was quite the entrance, but excited to be on again.
Hey, no problem. I should have mentioned a few WHL championships too there with the Oil Kings in Seattle. So, hey, well, I don't want to shortchange you, but those are some pretty good numbers, man. You're making goal scoring look rather easy, and I know it's not in the NHL.
No, it's not easy. Thanks. I think, the team's been playing pretty well. We're in the big hunt for the playoff push, so we need all the points we can get, so whatever I can do to help.
Now, Dylan, of course, you started out in Arizona. What did you know? Had you ever been to Utah prior to going there once the team relocated?
Never been to Utah. Don't know if I ever thought I'd be going to Utah, to be honest, but super close to Arizona. I didn't really know that, but, it's been unbelievable. The people and they're all super nice, and, they love us. They love the hockey there. The building's sold out every game, and, we feel the energy and the passion. So it's just a ton of fun to play in Utah.
Your owner, and that's been a big thing. Your owner comes in and has not spared any expense from the get-go. And, in today's NHL, part of competing is as much as it is on the ice, you need to have all the amenities off of the ice, training room, workroom, all those sorts of things. And you guys have that now.
Yeah, unbelievable. Our practice facility is great. They're building a new one that's going to be done for next season. So everything's top notch. Ryan's super involved. He's giving us knuckles when we're going out on the ice, which I don't think you see a whole lot from the owners around the league. So it's super nice to kind of have a young, progressive owner like that who really cares about the players.
Dylan Gunther joins us. So you have an owner like that, and like your team was decimated by injuries, Dylan, especially on your back end. And you guys found a way to kind of stay in the hunt, and then you get Dursey back, and you get Marino back, and Oli Mata's come over in a trade, and he's really stepped up for your team. Just talk about kind of the resiliency of your group to find a way to stay in that hunt all year long, despite the injuries.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't think we had our full team until after the Four Nations break. So just kind of ready for whatever was thrown at us. I mean, that's kind of how we were, heading into Utah. We didn't know until, late March, maybe April last year, and everything's been super new. But, whatever we got, we're just so excited to play in front of those fans and super proud. And, whether we're winning or losing, they're there the whole game. So it really is special to be able to play there and try to win in front of them.
So you look at your team, what's led to the success on the ice for your group?
I mean, we have a better team than last year. We added pieces and we got better in the off season. So I think, with the pieces we added and our younger players getting a little bit older and the players getting better, I think that we improved. So we've had great goaltending too, which is obviously so big. But no, I think we're kind of a fast young team. We play with a lot of pace, and when we play well, I feel like we can compete with any team.
So you talk about playing with pace, and when you're injured, maybe you can't play the way you want. Maybe you got to be a little bit more defensive somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
But now with everybody healthy, and you talk about it like you guys don't have like a McDavid or a Draisaitl, but you guys got a really balanced attack with guys that can contribute on all lines.
Yeah, we got a pretty deep forward core. Obviously our D core getting all healthy. It's getting the puck up faster obviously helps playing fast. But no, we have a deep team. We can roll all four lines and kind of come at you from all different angles. And we got Kells too, who's a really good player. He's up there, one of the top producers in the league this year, so he's having a great year. And stepped into the kind of captain role, which is, huge for us.
Dylan Gunther joins us, of course, member of the Utah Hockey Club, tied for their team lead with Clayton Keller with 24 goals in 55 games, 48 points. From a personal standpoint, Dylan, this is, you've had parts of 3 seasons now in the NHL. You got a taste of it in 23. Then you went back to junior. Then last year you started the American League. Then you got called up and haven't looked back. Kind of what are those first 2 years? What have you learned about the league? Like, what did you focus on this offseason? What was your goal to come back and be even more productive?
Yeah, I think just the speed is the biggest thing. Getting faster. I mean, as you get older, it does slow down for you. Just, I guess, mentally, you can kind of see it more. You're a little bit more comfortable. But I think I've gotten better every year over the last 3 years, and that's really just the focus. I think this will just get a little bit better, every day. And, it's such a good league that if you take your foot off the gas for a little bit, then you're going to fall behind. So, just small steps one day at a time. And, I want to play in these meaningful games, pushing for the playoffs. So that's really what you work for when you're in the off season and whatnot.
Becoming a scorer in today's NHL is not easy. And I was kind of joking, you made it look easy, but you're always a guy who knew how to score. But do you watch film on guys, Dylan, at all to say, hey, goalies are susceptible? We know the goalies like to go down now. They're all butterflies. There's nobody's a stand-up goalie. Or do you just kind of shoot to areas more than, worried about who's in goal?
Yeah, I think not really. Like we get a pre-scout of the other team's goalie, but I think it's so fast that you're not really thinking about that. I think it's more of the repetitions that I've done in the past and knowing the areas on the ice and kind of where you like to shoot, where you're good at, and where you get more shots in the game. So I think it comes with practice, and the D are also super good. So I think my main focus is just getting it off quick, trying to pull it around them or shoot through them. But yeah, probably quickness, and then you never know if you get it on net, it might go in.
Well, it's never a bad thing, right? Put a puck on net. Dylan, you're turning 22 next month. So this is your first year in the league as a 21-year-old. You're touring around. What do you do for fun away from the game as a young guy in the NHL?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get to go on the road. You get to see all these, super nice cities. And, yeah, I don't know. I like going for dinners on the road, maybe do a little shopping. But I don't know. I think people ask me that, and I go to work from like 9 to probably 2 every day and then get a lot of free time. So I've been playing a little bit of Scrabble with McBain at home.
Okay.
Trying to work the mind that way. A little Monopoly we play, but I don't know, just get out. I've been doing a little bowling too, so just trying to diversify my skill set here.
So Scrabble, how who's the better Scrabble player?
I'm better. You could ask him. I'm better than he is, but we play with Robert Bertuzzo too. He's an older guy on our team, and he's the champ. So always chasing down something.
All right. So now, are you carrying around a thesaurus, looking up new words all the time, or what?
No, but if you use all 7 of them tiles, then you get a 50-point bonus. But no, I think it helps me. I mean, I don't really read or anything, so maybe it expands my vocabulary a little bit. I know a lot of these fake words that are actually real words now.
So you're like, I know the word. I don't know necessarily what it means, but I know what the word is. I know how to spell it.
Searching it up, it counts. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. Well, now, Jack, so you're playing with Jack McBain. Is that right?
Yeah, him and Bertuzzo, yeah.
Okay. Now, you're playing Scrabble with 2 of the toughest guys on your team. So is their toughness rubbing off on you?
I don't know. I don't think they're throwing nuts over the Scrabble game. It does get competitive, though.
Going back to kind of this playoff race, there's 4 teams separated by 2 points. You've been in this situation, obviously not in the NHL, but you've been in other leagues, and just it's easier to come to the rink when you're in a playoff race than it is when you're not. And is it more exciting than it is pressure, or is it a combination of both right now?
It's super fun. I think this is where you want to be, and it's a new spot for a lot of the guys on the team. I mean, Arizona didn't make the playoffs for a long time, so we have a good mix of guys who have won cups, have had deep runs, and then guys who maybe haven't been in this position. So I think it's just a lot of fun. I mean, the game yesterday was a huge game, and we were able to come out on top. And just try to keep the ball rolling. Now,
I think your practice got postponed. The coach, how much when that conversation goes on and he cancels the practice, is that just the rest, and then you being at home? Obviously, you're in Edmonton. I'm guessing you got spend a little extra time with your family because of it. But how does a group react when the coach hey guys, practice is canceled now? Is it still this is unreal, or are you a guy who's like, man, I actually want to get on the ice?
No, it's nice. I won't lie. You earn the days off, to be honest. I mean, had we not won yesterday, maybe you don't get the day off. So, no, it's great. I think at the time of year, guys are banged up, and you have to make sure you're managing, your rest and load ratio. And playing, I think we have 11 games in 20 days, so with travel. So it's a lot, and they're all important. So making sure that when we're on the ice, we're getting something out of it, and we're ready to go when the puck drops for the game.
Now, Dylan, I got to think not every game's the same for every player, but when you play in your hometown against a team you grew up cheering for, you got parents there, you probably have lots of friends and family. How much more fun is a game tomorrow night for you?
Yeah, it's cool. I was telling my parents, they came to Vancouver too. It's different. I mean, I played in the Oil Kings for a long time, and you're playing on the other side, you're sitting on the other bench, so it does feel a little different, but it's cool. I mean, I remember going to Oiler games for as long as I can remember, and just seeing how passionate the city is and the fans are about the Oilers. So it's pretty cool to go out there and live that in a different point of view.
Now, do you collect sticks or anything like that?
I got a Crosby and an Ovechkin, which, I mean, pretty good start, but yeah, it's pretty cool playing those guys. Those were, the top players in the league when I was growing up, so it's pretty cool.
So now, did you ask them for their stick after a game? How'd you get it?
Yeah, I asked Ovi for a stick. I actually got Crosby's after I scored the game-winning goal in the World Juniors.
Oh, okay.
So we did a stick swap there, so that was pretty cool. That he wanted one of my sticks, which is pretty crazy. I mean, your childhood hero and favorite player growing up is asking you for a stick. So, but then I asked Ovechkin, he came to town this year, and it's pretty cool. Even like looking at their curves and whatnot, it's just way different than, mine. So
now Ovi's got quite the curve, does he not?
Yeah, he's got a big toe hook. It's like 100 flex. It's like all black. It's pretty cool.
And then what's Crosby's curve?
It's like pretty flat. Kind of looks like he shoots it off the heel, and Ovi kind of shoots from the toe. So it's way different how they the technology's changed and now every player is different.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair. Dylan Gunther joins us. So you got Draisaitl and McDavid. Would you ask those guys for, like, how does it work? When do you decide, like, to ask Ovi? You go in the morning skate? When do you make the decision if you're going to ask?
Yeah, I asked the trainers.
Oh, okay.
And they usually do it. But, yeah, I mean, those guys, too, pretty good players, too. And Draisaitl's got that big paddle, so I think that would be a cool one to get.
Oh God, it's huge, man. Like he must push the limits on what's allowed in a stick, but not only just like the length of it, but also the height of it. Right. And right now he's the best goal scorer in the game. Have you ever thought, like, have you ever tried it? Even your teammates' sticks in practice, it's different than yours.
Yeah, sometimes I tried Josh Stone's. He rips it pretty good, but, I don't know. I mean, every player is different. I don't think I'd be able to shoot with a stick like Draisaitl. I just don't shoot like that. So, it's different. It's cool to see how other guys have success using something way different.
Dylan Gunther joins. Dylan, you're a pretty good shooter. What were the things that you worked on at a young age that allowed you to become a better shooter and have a quicker release?
I think just a lot of repetition. That's what I like to do. It's what I was good at growing up, so I shot a lot in the basement. And I think just as I've gotten older, I've continued to adapt and, change and tweak little things based on the competition, just trying to get it off quicker and whatnot. But it was just what I loved to do growing up is, stick handling and shooting in the basement. And, I stuck with it and, it paid off.
So for you, like last off season, let's say, how much, like, would you shoot as much off of the ice as you would on the ice, or do you need to shoot on the ice to work on your shot?
I like shooting off the ice.
Okay.
Just like less strenuous. And it's just convenient, right? It's in my basement. I go down there, shoot pucks for 20 minutes, and you're getting a lot of reps. But I mean, it's both. I do it less now that I'm older than I used to when I was a kid. I come home from school and just shoot it. Until practice, go to practice, come back and shoot. So I don't do that anymore, but no, once in a while I'll go down there.
Now, in the summertime, did you come home? Do you live with your parents or do you have your own place in the summer?
I think I'm going to get my own this year. I did last year, but my brother's getting a little older. We're kind of like a little hangout spot. So his buddies coming in our house all the time. So I think it might be time for me to, find a spot here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all right. So you should go house shopping. That's going to be priority number one after making the playoffs this year.
Well, yeah, maybe just rent, but find something, yeah.
Well, Dylan, continued success. Enjoy the game. Enjoy it with your family. Now, do you bring the boys over to your parents' house for dinner tonight, or is it just you and your family? How does that work?
No, it's just us. Maybe I should have asked a couple of the guys, but I didn't get to come back last time. We're on a back-to-back, so it'll be nice to just be with the family.
Does Mom have a favorite go-to dish that she'll make you tonight?
No. I told her my dad is a better cook, so you can take the reins on it.
Okay. Is Dad making something tonight or what?
Yeah, he's steak, sweet potato, broccoli. That's kind of like my go-to. What I make too. So
okay.
Yeah, no, it'll be good.
All right. So how would you rate your own cooking skills?
I think it's solid. It's gotten better for sure. Maybe like 5 out of 10.
Oh, 5 out of. Now, do you just go with the same thing all the time, or do you like to experiment on a few new dishes?
Yeah, pretty stock. I maybe cook once a week.
All right.
Well, maybe once a week. Yeah.
Steak and sweet potatoes once a week. Is that what you're telling me?
Air fryer, potatoes. Oh. Sometimes we go chicken, salmon. We do. So we change it up, but yeah, it's pretty stock.
You know what? Steak in the air fryer. I can't believe how good it is. Like, I was blown away. We have the air fryer.
Tried that actually.
I'm telling you, man. Like, now Utah's wintertime, so it's because here I'm not barbecuing in the summer. I mean, in wintertime, it's a little chilly. But I'll tell you, I was blown away how good the air fryer steak is. Like,
I have to give that a look.
to the exact, like if you want medium rare, whatever you want, it gets it like perfect. It's
Really?
Oh yeah. So highly recommend it. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Yeah. Maybe tell Dad to try it first. If he's a chef, he'd probably do it. So awesome. All right,
That's
Dylan.
good.
Well, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. We'll see you at the rink tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. We'll see you.
You betcha. That's Dylan Gunter. Man, 21 years of age, just living his life. He's having a great year again for Utah. 24 goals in 55 games, tied with Clayton Keller for the team lead in goals. He's third in points with 48, but obviously he's played 12 fewer games than Nick Schmaltz. So I'm telling you, Gunther, an Oil King who has just I think he's probably better now than he was even as an Oil King, and he's a pretty damn good Oil King. But of course, the last year they won that championship, he had 91, 92 points, something like that. So, but yeah, he's just continued on and gets better. Really smart player who can finish. So you look at Utah tomorrow night. That's not going to be an easy game at all for the Oilers, and I think that's good, right? Like the Rangers were a desperate club, played pretty well against them. You're gonna have to do the same thing against Utah. And the Oilers, they can't afford first game back from a road trip thing, because the Oilers, like Utah's in a fight for the playoffs. The Oilers in a fight for home ice because they're currently in second, but LA is 1 point back with a game in hand, and the Kings are in action tonight as they are on the road taking on Minnesota. So theoretically, the Oilers could wake up tomorrow in third place. So big game for both sides. That's our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice. Go to silentice.com to watch all their playoff action. Quick break. We will return. We're going to talk. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Who knew that Tater was on the charter of the Oilers? He'll tell you what he heard next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
To the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 postgame show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The postgame
Here,
show on Sports
at the 2-minute warning,
Whether you're a
we
craft
believe in
beer
doing
connoisseur
everything we
or
have to
more of a
do
wine aficionado, there's
bring you, my
always something
friend,
new to discover at
stories
Sherbrooke
you would
Liquor, a
never
unique
hear
family-owned,
otherwise. We can
independent
tell you
liquor
now,
store
we had a
with
secret
selection
bug hidden in the
incredible.
overhead
The
bin on the
non-alcohol
Oilers charter
section is also
home
very impressive.
last night from New York to
Sherbrooke
bring
Liquor, expert,
what we
knowledgeable
call,
staff
from this
with a
day,
passion for
until it
unique
isn't funny
finds.
anymore,
More than
a
just
little
liquor
thing we
store,
call
we're a
Tate's
community.
8.
Alberta's
And
best,
today,
the one and
8
only
things overheard
Sherbrooke Liquor.
last
Wine,
night on the
spirits,
Oilers charter.
and oodles of
Okay,
beer.
8 things
Visit
overheard
SherbrookeLiquor.com.
last night. Number 8, Corey Perry.
With
15
the lead
games
up to the playoffs underway,
score.
players are
Do a game and you'll get
definitely
30
stepping up
goals.
their
Come
game.
on.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work in
Number
the front
7.
half of the season, but now
I think
more
I saw
and more
Donald
fans
Trump
are
at the
rocking
game.
the Will
Does he want to buy our
Jerky
team? Number
game
6.
time
I
get-togethers.
love cheesecake.
Just make sure you bring
But
enough for
after a
everyone
week in
if
New
you
York,
want to be invited
I
back
think
for
I'm
the
good for a while.
playoffs.
Make
Number
your
5.
next hockey
It
game
must
day
be
a
midnight.
Will
Everyone go
Hockey
see the
Game Day
taping of
with
Saturday
Will
Night
Hockey
Live.
Jerky. Only
Number
available
3.
in Leduc. Get yours today.
Number
because you
2.
don't win games with salad.
A few years ago,
Tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt.
through no fault of their own, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, who won the golf tournament, Rory? $246. If you missed it earlier today, Rory McIlroy won in the playoff. That's a big cash prize, man. Huge. It was like 25 mil doled out in that tournament for the golfers. Also, F1, Lando Norris gets the first victory of the season. It was kind of it looked like everything was going hunky-dory. Then all of a sudden there's, the rain comes and then there's a few changes and ended up being pretty wild and lots of teams. Like Sauber, I'm pretty sure that's their first ever top 10 finish, right? With Hulkenberg and, rookie finishing fourth. So lots of unknown in F1 if you're an F1 fan. Of course, there's the NBA continues to roll on. Hey, don't look now, but the Golden State Warriors, playing pretty well. And just in case, look at the Warriors have what? They're 9-1 their last 10. They've won 7 in a row. The Miami Heat have lost 7 in a row. That Jimmy Butler guys, maybe kind of important. Hey, don't look now, but the Toronto Raptors are still not out of the playoff race. Crazy enough. They would lead a lot of good things to have go their way, but you're telling me there's a chance. I don't know if it's a good chance or not, but there's a chance. The way a few of the teams ahead of them are falling down, who knows? The Raptors, I don't know if they'll get in, but they might end up closer than we thought a month ago, that's for sure. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The Oilers will take on Utah. As mentioned, the game tonight that you'll be watching will be the LA Kings taking on the Calgary in a playoff dogfight. They're in Toronto to take on the struggling Maple Leafs. A huge game in the East. The Devils in Columbus. Columbus has to win that game. I think if they want to stay in the race, they need a big win. The Bruins, who feel they're still in it, they host the Sabres, who beat up Edmonton and Vegas last week. So 5 games in the NHL tonight, and a few of them with playoff implications. Let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. If you're looking for a very competitive wage, you got RSP matching, tuition reimbursement. Also, you get a hiring bonus for the right candidate to get hired. You can apply today at legacyheating.ca. And Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, and due to his disability, he's always wanted to be on radio, never could until now. The wonders of technology. Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Here at the 2-minute warning, we believe in doing everything we have to do. Bring you, my friend, stories. Stories you would never hear otherwise. We can tell you now. We had a secret bug hidden in the overhead bin on the Oilers charter home last night from New York to bring what we call, from this day, until it isn't funny anymore, a little thing we call Tate's 8. And today, 8 things overheard last night on the Oiler charter. Okay, 8 things overheard last night. Number 8, hey there, Corey Perry, 15 games left. Score 2 a game and you'll get 30 goals. Come on, I dare you. Number 7, I think I saw Donald Trump at the game. Does he want to buy our team? Number 6, I love cheesecake. But after a week in New York, I think I'm good for a while. Number 5, it must be midnight somewhere. Any green beer up here in honor of St. Patty's Day. Number 4, anyone go see the taping of Saturday Night Live? Number 3, what's the name of the hockey club we play Tuesday? Number 2, hey Stewie Skinner, great win tonight. I'll buy you dinner. Can I put it on my tab? Like I have all year? And the number 1 thing overheard on the Edmonton Oilers? Charter. Last night after beating the New York Rangers, hey boys, we've won 2 in a row. Is it time to turn the Jets on? Or should we wait a week? Or 2? Tate's 8. There you go. 2-minute warning. With Tighter, Gregor Show, Monday, Friday, Sports 1440.
What happened to the Cammer? Did he retire that nickname already? We might have to dig into that. That would have been one of the things that I think you should have heard on the flight. What happened to Cammer? Where did that go? People want to know. Tater, what happened? I'm sure they're asking you. Let us know. Let us know. We got a lot of text line in 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I totally agree with you about the ref. It's beyond frustrating. Last night, McDavid had the puck, comes in over the Rangers' blue line, blatantly slash, loses control of it. No penalty from Oil Commander. Well, that is a prime example. Exactly. Look at that one. Like, there's those. There's the Dickinson hit. Now, that's the one to me that I just don't understand. Because if the refs, quote, if the theory is that you want them to manage the game when it's 6-2 in a blowout, you don't want the team that's losing to take unnecessary runs at people. Shouldn't you be paying more attention? First of all, that's a hit that should never, ever, ever, ever be missed. But I'm telling you, it's more than just the officials. This is a league mandate, and the league has said it's not important to crack down on hits from behind. Don't tell me they've said it, because their actions, game after game, show otherwise. If they truly wanted to get rid of hits from behind, they would do what they did with hits to the head. How many hits to the head do we see now? How many has there been this year? Like, there's no chicken wings hardly anymore. And if there is, it's a pretty obvious suspension. Why are they gone? Because they had forced it and they made the punishment severe enough that the players are like, I'm not doing it. The players will learn. They're the best hockey players in the world. They'll figure it out. So you can reduce hits from behind. It's that simple. Now, he turned his back. No, he didn't. Hito was skating towards the boards, getting the puck on his backhand, and gets absolutely ran from behind. That's it's such a gross play. I absolutely hate it. Hey, Greg, did you see that Landeskog skated today? You think he is going to play again from Lance? Well, he really wants to, Lance. And honestly, like, I think just for the mental well-being for Landeskog, all the work he's put in, yeah, I think he'll get in a game. Because you know what? You can play one game and be like, guess what? I can't do it. And at least then you can say, you know what? I did everything I could. I got myself into it. I just can't play. You would know. But is he going to come back like 3 years out and be inserted into the lineup in the playoffs? Like, I guess it's possible. Now, how much does he have left? I don't know. He ain't coming back in the regular season. I'll tell you that right now. Just look at their LTIR space. It ain't happening. So, him skating, that's a good sign. Speaking of Oilers skating, you might see Trent Frederick with the big team at some point this week. I know he started working out last week, looking to get on the ice this week, so you might see him. Ekholm, if he doesn't play tomorrow, he'll play Thursday. So the Oilers, of course, had the day off today. Of course, traveling back from New York after playing 3 games in 4 days, so they have the day off. So they'll have a team morning practice tomorrow. And then we'll get a sense whether or not Ekholm is going to go, but he is getting very close. Hey, guys, do you think a changing of the guard amongst the officials has to do with the decline in penalties from Jake? It's a valid question, Jake. I could see maybe, but I would almost like to think that they would be more like they're going to, geez, I got to call stuff here rather than not call it. You know what I mean? Like, I would think you're a young guy. You might, oh, geez, a veteran ref might say, you know what? Nah, let that one go. But The young guys not calling penalties, well, that's wild to me. But it's true. It's happening. And if you're just joining us, this season in the NHL, just from last year, at the exact same point of the season, 1,038 games, there's been 747 fewer power plays this year compared to last year. That is a massive drop. And like I said, this is not just a one-year thing. Okay? You go back to 2009, and I can tell you the power plays in 2009, the team who had the fewest power plays per game in 2009 has more than any team today. Think about that. Like, it's constant. Like, even in 2020, Colorado led at 3.44 power play chances a game. 10 teams were over 300. The Islanders were last at 247. This year, there's 2 teams over 3.0 per game. That's it, 2. That's just in the span of 5 years. In 2004, remember what 2004, what did they do after 2004? We got to crack down on obstruction. There's way too much obstruction. Do you know how many power plays teams had? Nashville in 2004 led the NHL with 5.2 power play chances per game themselves. They alone had 5.2. 21 teams were above 4 power play opportunities per game, and Boston came in last in the league at 3.66. So the most power plays by one team was 5.2. 21 teams were over 4, and Boston came in 30th at 3.66. That was the year before. Now fast forward to this year. And you know what the leader in power plays per game is? The Ottawa Senators at 3.26. Almost 2 fewer power plays per game than we saw from the leading team in 2004. And Boston at 3.66, still more than Ottawa. And Boston was 30th. And that's when they said, God, we got to crack down. We're not calling enough penalties. Like, give me a break. Now, it's not as much, grabbing onto the jersey like we saw, but now it's just, it's more subtle, but it's there every game. The example you use, McDavid comes across the blue line, slash right on the hands, loses the puck, no penalty. Do you think Connor McDavid just skates across the blue line and mishandles the puck in the middle of the ice? Like, how often does that happen? Why did he mishandle the puck? Because someone slashed him right on the stick. How is that not a penalty? Based on the wording of the rule. Hey, Gregor, the NHL must know these stats, wouldn't they? Which doesn't make any sense if they know they're not doing anything. More scoring equals more views from Fraser. Well, Fraser, you would think so, wouldn't you? You'd love to think that would be the rationale, but I'm telling you, it isn't. So now Frank Saravalli, I sent it. The reason I did this over the week, because I sent it to Frank. I know he was going to the GM and he said, I want you to, and Frank was like, what do you mean they're down that much? I'm like, yeah, the Western Conference alone has had 449 fewer power plays. Minnesota, 60 fewer power plays this year than last year. St. Louis, 56. Vegas, 55. Chicago, 49. LA, 48. Colorado, Nashville, 41. Edmonton, 34. Some pretty good teams in there. So there's just 8 teams. Do the math on how fewer power plays just those teams have had. And it's not like, well, yeah, but all these other teams are getting way more power plays. Nope. It's not happening. San Jose is the outlier. They're actually up 26 power play chances this year from last. Now, they've got some younger skill players now, so maybe that's part of it. They can draw more penalties, a little bit more skill to the team, have the puck more, sure. But it's not like the other teams don't have skill. They can't get a penalty to save their life compared to previous years. It's a serious problem that no one wants to talk about. And fans just shouldn't just accept it. Well, No, right to the league. You know what? We'll get Marty Walsh on. I'm going to talk to the players. I'm sure the players they're not aware of it. They don't take the time to research it, nor should they. That's fine. It's my job, so I'll do it. But that's a major problem. Significant problem. And don't tell me that, oh, well, Gregor, I don't want too many power plays. I'm not asking for, Why can't you just have what you're used to? Did you complain that there was too many power plays in 2009? Did you hear anybody? Oh, Pittsburgh won the cup. They had too many power plays. I never heard it. Never heard it. Never heard in the 80s. Never heard in the 90s. I never heard there's too many power plays. Some thought maybe in 2006 for a bit because there were 6 per team, the top teams, right? Everybody had over 5. They're cracking down. But did you see what happened? If you look at the first half of that season, there was lots of penalties. And then the players like, okay, this is what they're going to call. Because they made it very clear. If your stick, if you get it and you're lateral, parallel to the guy, touching his hands, penalty. Cut and dry. They said the rule, and that's what they enforced. And now look at the grayness of it. Watch how many times a player comes in, guy's hooking on his stick. Right? Like they don't grab the jersey like they used to. It's not as blatant. But it is, quick little tap on the hands. And with the sticks now, little vibration like that, puck goes off. Happens all the time. Hits from behind. I used the Hedel one as an example on Saturday. There wasn't even a minor penalty called on that play. It's brutal. So it's got to get way better. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. John Kelly's going to join us later on from St. Louis. We'll hear from the Oilers. We'll get your thoughts on the Oilers. And what would you do with the defense pairs? Jake Wallman, I thought, had an excellent game against the Rangers. What would you do? We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. 3 new food options at Booster Juice. The guacamole chicken panini, the guacamole black bean wrap, and the egg and chipotle black bean wrap. Visit your nearest Booster Juice today and treat your taste buds to something new.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. You got the Bruins and Sabres. Flyers travel to Tampa Devils in Columbus. Leafs host the Flames, and the Kings taking on the Minnesota Wild. In the association, the Heat travel to New York to take on the Knicks, Rockets, and Sixers. Pacers in Minnesota. Got the Jazz and the Bulls. Warriors up against the Nuggets. Raptors in Phoenix to take on the Suns. And the Trailblazers hosting the Wizards at 8:30 to wrap it all up. The Spurs in LA taking on the Lakers. Also from the association, Dallas Mavericks forward Anthony Davis heading to the G League to get some 5-on-5 work as he prepares to return from injury. Davis will be working out with the Texas Legends, the Mavericks G League affiliate. The 10-time All-Star has appeared in just 1 game with the Mavericks since they acquired him in the trade with Luka Doncic and the Lakers. And from the majors, Jose Barrios is getting the ball for the Toronto Blue Jays on opening day. That was from manager John Schneider earlier on today. First pitch will be against the Orioles in Toronto on March 27th. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by the voice of the St. Louis Blues, John Kelly. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
When you live in northern Alberta, you need a vehicle that is built for this climate. That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep. It's a 4x4, so it's totally at home driving on snow and ice. And it's got some great standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats. As I said, Northern Alberta. And all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
People are always curious about what GS Construction does. They know it's something to do with construction because it's in our name. But our work at GS Construction isn't just about the projects we do. It's about people. This season, you'll see GS Construction improving underground infrastructure in the places we call home. So we're looking for crew members to work with motivated and friendly team members. Sound like you? If you want to join a team that cares about the community, your community, visit gsconstruction.ca and apply today.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Jap Machinery. Jap is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japmachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Monday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports 1440.ca. Of course, you can listen and download the app, Radio Player app, iHeartRadio or Stingray app, and of course, watch the show live on Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. However you consume the show, we always appreciate you being part of it. We got a lot of text flying in at 833-401-1440 in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. Gregor, what's your code word? It's Gregor50. That's Gregor50 at playalberta.ca. You can get yourself in the game, Rick. Good luck. Maybe Leon Draisaitl to score his 50th tomorrow. Who wouldn't be into that? Why not? We shall see. So good luck. Oh, by the way, it is Gregor Grad season. We actually have our first fitting tomorrow. So I won't be going to the morning skate because we have our fitting with our first group of grads tomorrow. And I guess it's a good news, bad news situation. There's more demand, which means we have to fundraise. So I have a pair of seats to tomorrow's game, Oilers and Utah. In the lower bowl, so maybe you could see Draisaitl's 50th. It costs $400 to suit up a grad with a new suit, shirt, tie, shoes, socks, belt, everything. So if you want to go to the game, we'll make a trade. You donate $400 to Gregor Foundation, we'll give you a pair of seats to go to the game. So if you want to, just text in 833-401-1440 and say Gregor Grads, and I'll hook you up with a pair of seats. And that means you'll be helping a grad student who otherwise wouldn't go to grad. Now, they get suit to keep. This is not just a rental. To me, that's a one-timer. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So we get it tailored, everything. It fits them perfectly. And they start, we have 5 fitting days this year with about 45 kids each time. So we will have our first one tomorrow. So if you want to go to the game, you want to help kid get fitted, that'd be great. Probably have to raise enough for about 20 extra. This year, because numbers always go up. So we'll do that over the next bit. But if you want to help out, 833-401-1440, and you can go to the game. Should be a good game. Utah's in a dogfight for the playoffs. The Oilers are in a dogfight for a playoff seeding in the Pacific Division. And you could see Draisaitl with his 50th goal tomorrow night. We shall see. Got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, why don't the Oilers adapt and commit to actually committing more infractions, take more liberties? Sam from Vancouver. Well, that's a bold strategy. I think the risk is that you're like, well, you're not maybe used to doing it. And now all of a sudden, hey, I get the theory behind it that, you know what, in crunch time, yeah, why not? Because the odds are the refs aren't going to call. You say, you know what, I'm going to instruct, and you get on the guy's hands. I'm only going to get one call a game. So I'll do it. It's a unique strategy. I don't know if, like, the Oilers are near the bottom in penalties taken. They're near the bottom in power plays and penalties drawn either, unfortunately, which is a whole other topic because to me, I'm not surprised that a lot of the teams who are near the bottom in in power play chances are also near the bottom in time shorthanded. It's not, you don't see a lot of teams who, geez, this team takes a lot of penalties, but doesn't get a lot of power plays. Right? Like the Oilers rank 27th. Well, I guess I would look at it the other way. I guess you can argue that the Oilers ranked 6th at 2.42 time shorthanded per game. The Blues at 237, Detroit's 233, Seattle 221, the Islanders 217, and Vegas, least penalized team in the league, at 204. So now let's just quickly go over to power play opportunities. And, the St. Louis Blues, who are in the bottom top 6 of time shorthanded, guess what? They've had the fewest power plays. Vegas, also there. The Oilers, 6th. Those are 6th in both. So there's 3 teams who are top 6 in time shorthanded, or also, I guess, top 6 in fewest power plays in the NHL. Not a surprise to me. The Islanders are top 7 in both. I look at, the Montreal Canadiens are a team. They've been shorthanded the most this year. And then they're also, 6th for the most power play. So their games have a lot of penalties. Well, not a lot, but based on, compared to everybody else. So I do think at times, if you take penalties, we're going to give you power plays. Well, that's a stupid philosophy. Just call the game. If one team is actually more disciplined, but it's able to draw more penalties, they should draw more penalties. It should be an advantage. It shouldn't just be, you don't get a lot of power plays, but guess what? You don't take a lot of penalties. So we keep things even, Steven. I don't like it. I think it's kind of dumb. So, hey, guys, with Kane and Perry, we get penalized more and at the top of the list if we push the issue. I don't know about that. Corey Perry's Corey Perry's not the guy of the past, right? Like, Corey Perry doesn't play enough. He's smart enough. Corey Perry was never a guy who took a ton of penalties. He takes some coincidental ones, sure. Kane, yeah, he's going to take a few aggressive penalties. No question. But there's other guys around the league that do that for sure. Hey, Gregor, just get someone to wrestle with the other team's best player and sit in for the final 30 seconds. It's never called. Blair, I like the sarcasm. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a bold strategy. Why not? You only have to look at the abuse McDavid, Draisaitl took in the playoffs. See, the players are aware of the officiating standard. What about Draisaitl got a broken rib? For your other question for D pairs, I'd run Bouchard and Wallman, Nurse, Kulak, Ekholm, and Emerson to bring Ekholm back slowly and help Emerson out. From Mark. Well, Mark, I don't think you're far off in the last part about the defense pairings. Like I thought Jake Wallman was excellent in New York yesterday. Like, really good. I can't remember how many. He seemed to be in the shooting lane all the time. Right? Really smart, good mobile defenseman. I thought him and Bouchard had a pretty solid game. Now, he's played well when he's played with Nurse too. So there's some mobility there. But I like the strategy of, hey, we don't have to put Ekholm right away, boom, back in the first pair. Because Ekholm, before he got injured, he wasn't having a great run of things. So I don't mind that. Because if that makes your other pairing stronger, why not? So I think we'll see a lot of kind of maneuvering around amongst the top 5. I think we all know Emerson's their number 6 defenseman. He's the third pair right guy. Then you got Kulak and Wallman. They can both play the right side. I think that's what we're going to see. I just don't know who you're going to see who with more. We might not have like a select, these guys are going to play 19 minutes of 5-on-5. They're going to play like 16 and a half or 17, because obviously there's changes. One guy changes, the other guy's on, so I get that. But I don't know if we'll see like 90 to 95% exclusivity amongst the D pairs. Hey, Gregor, what would it take for the NHL to make a change? Well, first of all, I think it's going to start with the players. And the Players Association has to say, hey, wait a sec, but come armed with numbers. And they've got the numbers. I did the research for them. It's easy. It's not hard. Didn't take that much work. I know where to look. You have that significant of a drop. Like if I'm Bill Guerin, I would want to know, why is my team had through 67 games, 60 fewer power play chances than we had last year? And oh, by the way, 10 years ago, we had even more. So it's like this year's a big drop for some teams and big drop across the league, yes. But it's been, as I've said, a gradual reduction over 15 years. And that's how they do it. They just want to wear you down and so starts by 10 last. Oh, now it's another 10. Oh, it's another 10. Right? It's like the phone companies. Oh, $3 more a month now. Oh, next year it's another $3 a month more. They suck it out of you. And it's no different for hockey, except what they're doing is they're just slowly the reduction, and people get used to the standard. Okay, now another few years, let's lower it again. Let's not call anything. And it's dumb, man. Totally dumb. And it's something that I really think the NHL needs to look at seriously. I'm not sold they will, but I will say this. I sent this to a few GMs, and a few of them were like, are you serious with these numbers? And I was like, yeah. So at least at the bare minimum, it opened up their eyes. So we'll see. We'll see if it means anything. 833-401-1440. When we return, the race for 8th. It's a hell of a race. There's some pretty good races. Like look at Colorado and Dallas. They're racing for home ice advantage because they're not going to catch Winnipeg, and they're probably not. Neither one of them is going to fall back to Minnesota. So they're battling. We saw them meet on the weekend, went to overtime. Cale Makar wins it. Dallas did score 2 goals in 20 seconds to at least salvage a point. But that's a huge race for second place in home ice. Then you've got Edmonton, LA, Vegas, all within 5 points. LA has 2 games in hand. They make up one of them tonight. It's a huge race for first. Then you got St. Louis, Utah, Calgary, Vancouver. 2 points separate the 4 teams for the final playoff spot. One team, I think, has the best chance. We'll talk about them next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
This is going to make you hungry. Booster Juice just dropped new guacamole and black bean grilled fresh options.
What the guac?
Yeah, a guacamole black bean wrap, guacamole chicken panini, and an egg and chipotle black bean wrap.
What a trio! Holy guacamole!
Bye-bye, boring as bread sandwiches.
Guac, yeah! New flavors, new cravings.
Avocado up to wraps and paninis from Booster Juice. Canadian-born blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Edmonton's biggest St. Patty's Day party is at On the Rock.
Party at OTR today as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day the way it needs to be celebrated.
Look at the Irish. The Irish.
24 hours of green beer.
1,440 minutes of mayhem, including live entertainment.
Irish dancers.
And all the festive Irish food you can handle.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day at On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Your Kiss Me, I'm Irish headquarters.
Only if you're into that sort of thing.
Jasper Ave and 118.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you look outside, you'll notice it's not exactly RV weather, but it is time to get your plan together. Our busiest time for spring startups is coming in just a few weeks. So if you want to be ready for May long weekend, you should really book your time right now.
A lot of people wait for warmer weather to book their spring startup.
That's right, Bob, but we're booked weeks in advance for the most popular startup times. And if you've been putting off any small repairs or fixes, this is the right time to get that taken care of too.
You don't want to spend another season with gutter butter leaking down the side of your RV.
No way, Bob. Our used RV maintenance crew will get you ready to roll for the first camping weekend of the summer. And all it takes is a little thinking ahead and some TLC from our service experts. Because the best time to go camping with your family is the minute you feel like going.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Secure your spot inside Rogers Place this year for the Stanley Cup playoffs by becoming an Oilers full or half season seat holder for the 2025-26 season. Visit EdmontonOilers.com/season seats to join the pre-sale list today.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.323. I like this one. You know what? This is, like I said, it's rare to find topics that all fans in the league are going to agree upon. We got Chicago fans chiming in on our topic. Hey, Gregor, you're bang on. You should send it to Bedard. Unfortunately, he'll get a 10 misconduct for telling refs for the obvious calls against him. That one comes in from Randy. Well, he did get a 10-minuter against the Sharks here. What was it was it Friday or Thursday? He wasn't happy. And if you watch the play, there had been like 3 obvious infractions against him, none called. And finally he snapped. Young guy, second year in the league. You don't see 10-minute misconduct handed out very often, but he got one. So there you go. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where you can get in the game right now at McDonald's. And when I say get in the game, you can get in the in the food game, of course, because the spicy, cheesy jalapeno quarter pounder is here. Oh, it is good. If you like a little spice in your life, try the cheesy jalapeno quarter pounder right now, only at McDonald's. And speaking of spicy, the playoff race in the Western Conference. Woo, mama. If you like it, 4 teams battling what it looks like for one spot, although the way Minnesota's playing, St. Louis has gained 9 points on them just since the Four Nations. And they are 6 back of Minnesota now. So I wouldn't rule it out yet. I don't know if Minnesota's that home free. But Vancouver, St. Louis, the Flames, and Utah, all within 2 points for that final wild card spot. And as I mentioned, Minnesota is leaking a little bit of oil right now. John Kelly joins us from St. Louis, voice of the Blues. John, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Great, Jason. How are you doing?
Good. Now, John, I don't know if you had time to read my article today or not, but I'm assuming you're busy, so maybe you didn't. But I'll give you a little tidbit about the Blues that this season St. Louis has had 56 fewer power play opportunities at this point last year, or this point this year, than they did last year through the exact same number of games. 56. Second most in the NHL. Only Minnesota has seen a bigger dip in power play chances at 60. You call the games. Do you notice regularly you're like, well, that should have been a penalty, and it's not getting called against St. Louis?
Yeah, the referees don't like him, Jason. That's the bottom line. I did not know that, and I know that the Blues don't get a ton of power plays on a regular basis, but I didn't know that there was such a dip. So that really is news to me. Now, you say that, and ironically enough, last night they had 3 power play goals for the first time this season. So their power play has been a lot better since the Four Nations, like their entire play. But I don't know why that is, because the thing is, last year they scored a lot of goals off the rush.
Yeah.
And this year probably not scoring as many off the rush. So hockey. When you score off the rush and get odd man breaks, you tend to draw more penalties, and maybe they're not doing that as much. I don't know. I haven't seen the analytics on that, but that again is news to me.
Yeah, well, I just point out, because across the league, 747 fewer power plays. Like it's a massive drop from 1 year to this year. It's the lowest amount of power plays in the history of the game. There's only 2 teams that are even averaging 3 a game. And the Blues are actually dead last in the NHL at 2.26 power plays per game. So they don't get a ton. And I don't like the Blues. They're not a team that's terrible. They got some skilled players. There's no question about it. And I specifically took a time to watch a period of every team this weekend around the league. And obviously St. Louis and Minnesota are the 2, but Vegas is up there with 55, and LA's at 48, and Colorado's at 41 with Nathan McKinnon. And, McDavid's numbers drawn penalties are down almost 50% alone on him from last year. To me, it's a big problem that the NHL just doesn't seem to want to address. I don't understand it.
Yeah. It seems like, now that you mention it, most nights when we do a game, there are, 1 or 2 power plays per team, and that's it. It's very rare when you get 3 or 4 or more. So, I don't know why that the crackdown has gone that way. I do know that they still call every single little slash to the hands, even when you have one stick in your hand. Yet they're not calling holding and things like that in front of the net and interference. But yeah, that would be a better question for, the likes of Coley Campbell, someone from the league. But I do notice that every night, like I said, I only see 1 or 2 power plays per team.
Now, looking at the Blues, as I mentioned, since Four Nations, the most points in the NHL, the St. Louis Blues. What has changed? Why are they on such a roll?
Well, I don't really know why it's clicked in, but I do know that before the Four Nations, they were very inconsistent. Obviously, they had a coaching change in November, and Jim Montgomery has come in and has done a very good job. But even, after the coaching bump that they got from Montgomery, they sort of went back to their old ways of being inconsistent. But since the Four Nations, they have lost only 2 games in regulation. And as you said, they've closed ground on a team like Minnesota, which, it seems like 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was no way they were going to catch the Minnesota Wild. I'm not saying they're going to for sure. It's still a bit of an uphill climb with 14 games to go. They're 6 back, but the Wild are leaking oil, and they're still missing 3 of their top players like Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov, and there's no guarantee that either of those players is back before the end of the regular season. But I don't know why it clicked in, but I do know that their top players are playing really well. Robert Thomas has been playing his best hockey of the year. Buchnevich was banged up a little bit before the Four Nations. He's skating better. Jakey Neighbors, a young kid that Edmonton fans know really well, has been playing well on that line, as has Dylan Holloway on the second line with Shen, another player that Oiler fans know. So, as a group, they're clicking with all four lines. Before Four Nations, as I said, they were inconsistent. They'd win 2 and lose 2 and things like that. And Jim Montgomery was forced to change lines a bit. But for the most part, since the break, they've stuck with the same 4 lines and the same D pairs. Of course, Parayko got hurt, and he's out for the rest of the regular season. But, they've been very consistent in their lines. And again, all 4 are playing really well right now.
Looking at the Blues and their stretch run here, they've got the most favorable schedule. Now, I know they play the fewest games, but they have the fewest games against top quality teams. And they, to me, I look at the Blues and I feel like they're in the best position to get in, especially considering the way they're playing.
Yeah, I saw the percentages the other day. I believe the Blues had like a 30% chance, pretty much even with Vancouver and Calgary. And as you said, they've played the most games of that group of 4 teams, Utah, Calgary, Vancouver. And I know, looking at the Blues schedule, for 3 weekends in a row, they're going to have 3 games in 4 nights. They just completed 3 in 4 nights, and they play again tomorrow night in Nashville. They have a really busy schedule. I can't imagine Calgary's schedule down the stretch. With a month to go in the season, they must be playing like literally almost four games a week for the next month. So that's going to be tough on them. And I know that they lost Backlund the other night, and he will most likely miss tonight's game, I believe, in Toronto. So, that's a big loss for them. So, are the Blues going to get in? I wouldn't bet against them. I know I'm biased. I announced for the team, but they're playing so well right now, and they've got a lot of momentum. Again, I don't know Calgary's schedule, Vancouver's schedule by heart, Utah's. But the Blues, as you said, I believe they have 5 games left with teams that are currently in a playoff position. So they do have a favorable schedule, but obviously you still have to win them. For example, they lost in Pittsburgh last Thursday despite dominating the Penguins. So you still have to win those games, even though they are against some of the weaker competition.
John Kelly joins us, St. Louis Blues. Dylan Holloway is looking like a unbelievable steal at just over $2 million. Broberg obviously has played very well for his $4.6 million contract. But I want to focus first off on Dylan Holloway and just how his season's gone and what's impressed you most on a night-by-night basis from him.
Dylan Holloway is a very consistent player from what I've seen. And obviously he's had an increased role this year, increased ice time. He's seen a lot of power play time. He had a power play goal again last night. He has 6 on the season. So, on a team like the Blues compared to the Oilers, where they don't have the 2 superstars like Edmonton does, the Blues are a 4-line team. So he's going to get a lot more opportunity with quality players than he perhaps did last year with Edmonton. I know he's only a young player. He's really only played 2 years in the league. So, but obviously he's got great speed. He's got an unbelievable shot, a great work ethic. He drives the inside, and he's been a really nice fit with Braden Shen on the Blues second line. So there certainly is a lot to love about Dylan Holloway if you're a Blues fan. And as you said, right now that contract looks to be like a steal. He could still score 30 goals this year. Who knows the way he's going right now. So both he and Broberg have been huge additions to the Blues hockey team. And again, they didn't really have to pay a big price, as I know and as Oiler fans know. It was obviously a crafty move by Doug Armstrong, and both have fit in really well for St. Louis.
Yeah, it was definitely crafty. Shen played his 1,000th game yesterday and scored a goal like 40-some seconds into the game. The place went crazy. It's a perfect kind of story. His name was out there, never really made sense to me for the Blues. But when you look at kind of what they didn't do at the deadline, and clearly in hindsight, it's looking like the smart decision. And for Armstrong, he kind of believed his team was always a playoff team. That's what he said from the get-go, right? That's why he made the move to get Broberg, and Holloway says, hey, we think we can be a team that pushes for the playoffs. Now, I know they battled some injuries at times, but you mentioned you can't put your finger on one specific thing. They had the little bump from a coaching change. But when Montgomery came in, Was there anything specific that he's done to the system that you saw, even when they regressed again, that's made them a better team under him?
Well, not really. I think probably the one thing is that their defense has been more active than it was under Drew Bannister. And the Blues going into last night's game, I believe, were 5th in the league in goals by defense. So you watch them play now. I mean, and they're all really good skaters, except for Suter, who's 40 years old, obviously for good reason. But, I don't need to tell Oiler fans, Broberg is a fantastic skater, as is Colton Parayko and Nick Leddy and Justin Falk. He's a decent skater, but he likes to jump up in the play. So I think that they've been more active, and that would be the one thing I've seen. But I think the biggest thing with Jim Montgomery, the biggest change, is he's instilled the confidence back in the younger players, especially the likes of Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. I think that under Bannister, those players in particular might have lost some confidence. And Montgomery, of course, was an assistant coach with the Blues 3 years ago, and he had a great relationship with those young players. So he's come back, obviously a different role. Now he's the head coach. But I think that's the biggest thing, that he's instilled a lot of confidence in not just those two guys, but really the entire forward group. And it's taken some time, but it looks like it's paying dividends. So I would say those are the two things, the defense being more active and the players as a group with more confidence.
Well, John, it should be a fantastic run. We'll be watching from interest to see who gets into that final playoff spot. And I look at the Blues schedule and the way they're playing. I think they got a great chance, maybe the best chance of those teams, because you're right. Calgary has the worst schedule by far. Utah and Vancouver, after they play Winnipeg, they go on a 6-game road trip the rest of the month. That's probably going to make or break their season.
Yeah, and the Blues, of course, play Vancouver on Thursday. That might be the biggest game of the year. And then they end the season on April 15th with Utah. They don't play Calgary anymore, so only 2 more games against those other contenders in the West.
Awesome. Great stuff, man. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, John.
Okay, anytime, Jason. Have a good day.
Yeah, John Kelly, voice of the Blues. Now, I cannot believe what I just read. I'm gonna read you quotes from the GM meetings. What did I tell you, Connor, today? I said, I will guarantee you that the GMs are going to tell you, everything's good about our game. Okay. We're going to go to break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to read you some actual quotes that came out of the GM meetings today. God help us. God help us all. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Riverside Marine and Motorsports are back for the 2025 Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, March 21st and 23rd. Discover new 2025 models and exclusive offers like Yamaha finance rates and big rebates. Riverside Marine and Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off, presented by Christensen Communities Limited, hits the ice April 25th to 27th. This Edmonton-based tournament pairs hockey fans with some of their favorites from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend, featuring a champions luncheon and tournament. Teams are already fundraising in the community, enabling the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories to continue providing help for today through free education programs and support services, and hope for tomorrow through research. For more information or to learn how you can get involved, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds, you'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com. Some people wear
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3.43. Who has an Irish one here? Enjoy it. Pace yourself, St. Paddy's Day. Whoo! A lot of fun, man. Younger days, we used to, the St. Paddy's days. Woo! O'Byrne's back in the day. My goodness. The people were in there at 11 a.m. all day. Had some fun. So, I got a few quotes. Dallas Stars GM Jim Nill pointed to a combination of factors why scoring is where it is. Rule changes began at this meeting a year ago, freeing up players in front of the net, and a skill level is higher than before. It's hard to be a goalie these days. Really? Because now they're citing things like, well, the shooting percentage is the highest it's been, right? Since 10.7 back in 93, 94. Well, yeah, of course it is. Because you guys are tracking shots properly now. Right? There's fewer shots. We're seeing a reduction of 3 to 4 shots a game because if you used to take the puck and you shoot and the goalie made the save outside the net, well, that was still considered a shot on goal. So that player would get a shot. Now he doesn't get the shot. So that happens how many times a year to a certain player? Well, guess what? If his goals don't necessarily go down because that goal wasn't going in anyway, the shooting percentage goes up. Right? They're talking about, well, the power play success rate is higher. Yeah, well, the success rate is higher, but power plays are down 747 opportunities. There's 100 fewer power play goals this year than last year, simply because there's fewer chances. And last season, 21 teams in the NHL averaged over 3 goals a game. Currently, there's 12. And scoring doesn't go up the final 15 games of the season historically. We see more low-scoring games. So how many teams are going to finish the season above 3? If you went team by team, the first to the first, second to the second, from last year to this year, everyone is down. How can you say scoring is up? Like, who's presenting them these things? What the hell's going on? This is unbelievable. You got a minion like myself that can figure out these things. And they have nobody in the NHL office who's like, hey, geez, guys, like our power plays are way down. Scoring's down. Scoring's down. Like, you just got to look at the averages. Don't tell me it's up. It isn't up. When you have 21 teams averaging 3 goals and now you don't, it's just like, what are we doing? It makes no sense, right? Like, it makes no sense at all. Last year, Chicago was the lowest scoring team at 2.17. So maybe because you have a few of the teams at the bottom, that brings it up a little bit, but not enough. Not when you only have 12 teams over 3 goals a game this year. But it's a problem. They're not calling penalties. And they're going to tell you that the game's in great shape. That's the problem. The NHL always tells you it's in great shape until it isn't. Right? Fewer lead changes leads to fewer excitement. Okay? Or less excitement. It just doesn't make a sense. Hey, Gregor, I'd rather watch a game without a steady parade at the penalty box. One power play after another is boring for me. Flyer fan. Name the time you ever watched that, Flyer fan. Right? Like those type of comments are, no offense, ignorant. And it makes no sense. You've never seen an endless parade to the penalty box other than maybe 1 year in 2006. 1 year. Right? There's been 747 fewer power plays this season than last. Are you telling me that last year, like, oh my God, there's too many power plays. I can't handle it. I don't want to watch the games because there's too many power plays. Do you want to know how many teams last year? Let's go through the power plays per game last year. 2 teams this year are over 3. Let's go to last year. How many teams were over 3? Oh my God. You know what? Well, you had 16 teams that are above 3. And we're talking 3.02, 3.07, 3.12. No one was even at 3.5, right? 3.45, 3.39. Now this year you have 2 teams. So you're telling me you're like, oh, the game is way better because there's more obstruction. There's more hits from behind. I prefer that as a fan. Give me a break. Like, I'm sorry. Give me a break. Don't come to our show and spout things that are untrue. Okay? Because I got no time for it. Way too much time in society nowadays. Like, oh, people can say whatever the hell they want. Well, not here. If you want to bring facts, we'll have facts. If you want to say I like the player better than the other player, that's fine. That's different. But don't bring statistical stuff here. And because we're not doing it. We're not accepting it. It's garbage. I'll call out anybody who wants to bring bogus facts because that's not true. Okay? There's not an endless parade to the penalty box. There never has been other than 1 year. 1 year. And oh, you know what? In the 80s, when everyone's like, oh, geez, the goals were easy to come by. Go look at how many power play chances you had in the 80s. I never hear anybody complain about that. Not one person. Because there's no such thing as an endless parade to the penalty bench. Give me a break. It's not happening. So. Hey, Gregor, you want 6-5 games? Oh, my God. Are we going to go through that again? Please be smarter. There's never been 6-5 games, okay? Ever. You might get one. The league has never averaged 11 goals a game, okay? Ever. I think you had 1 year where you had some teams average. I got to go through it. How many teams even average 5 goals a year in a season? I think the Oilers did it a few times. That's it. Okay? So stop. The most you ever had was like 7.5 or 8. And now it's at 6 and people celebrate like it's the greatest thing in the world. Oh, we have like 3-2 scores and then a 4-2. Oh, it's a glorious game all the time. Now, maybe you like it, but come on. Give me a break. It's not happening. There's not endless scoring. It's going the other way. 2-1 games, 3-1 games, no lead changes. Oh, it's so great, right? Oh, let's play ping pong hockey. They chip it in, we chip it out. They chip it in, we chip it out. Woo! Sign me up, baby. Sign me up. I'm all over it. Hey, Gregor, penalties disrupt the flow of the game. Really? So if Connor McDavid comes skating across the blue line, gets hacked on the hands, and loses possession of the puck, you're like, oh, well, hey, that doesn't disrupt the flow of the game. I'm all for it. Honestly, is that what you're for? Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Hey, Gregor, I'd argue that the balancing of power plays for teams is related to lead changes as opposed to being against it, given how a team that's down getting power plays has more opportunities to get back into the game. Well, it's never called like that. Just call penalties. Don't call penalties based on the score of the game. If you're up 3-0 and you're a better team and the other team keeps having to hook and hold you, then you should get more power plays. It's that simple. It shouldn't be like, well, we got to keep the score close because these guys aren't as good. That's not the rule. I don't see that in the rule book. It doesn't say this is a trip unless you're up by 3 goals. Then it's not a trip. Or this is a slash unless you're down by 3, then even less is a slash. That's nowhere in the rule book. Anywhere. What are we talking about? The score is irrelevant. It should be irrelevant. I don't care. I don't care. Call the game to what it. The other game, was it in Buffalo? Zach Hyman got blatantly slew foot tripped. Not a slew foot. Guy stuck out his foot, tripped him. There's 5 minutes left in a 1-goal game. No penalty. Why? It's a blatant penalty. Well, I don't want to impact the game. Well, you just impacted the game by not calling the penalty. That's impacting the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Hey, guys, people saying they don't want to see a parade to the penalty box are assuming NHL players are dumb enough to keep committing infractions after infraction if they're not called. Players are smart and will adapt. Well, 100%. Bang on, Sam, in Vancouver. I totally agree. Guys, the obstruction they're getting away with today makes me sick. If the refs can't start calling penalties again, they're supposed to. Make the penalties will go down short period of time, but then they'll go back down when the players know they can't get away with it. It has to stop for the betterment of the game. Well, exactly. They've proven that they could do it, but the NHL, they aren't willing to do it. And here's the truth. Which players have the puck the most in the NHL, Connor Halley?
The skilled players.
Okay. So who makes the plays that normally get fans excited? Guys with the puck. Right? Now, a big hit can excite you, sure. A big fight, great. A great save, sure. But the majority of the pure excitement comes from a great passing play, tic-tac-toe, a great individual rush, guy goes flying by, guy. So you have the most exciting plays in the game, and they're being slowed down by infractions that aren't exciting, that don't make the game better, and the NHL is okay with it. It's ridiculous to me. And then you hear the comments, oh, the game's never been in a better place. This is the same old garbage we've heard for years. Oh, it's never been better. What are you talking about? It's never been better. I'm sorry. It has been better. Way better. This is not the golden era of hockey. You have more speed that accomplishes less than maybe ever before in the game. Watch how many times you'll have teams dump the puck in, which is basically a giveaway. It doesn't come up on the sheet as a giveaway, but it's a clear giveaway. And now when you do have guys coming up on the rush, they're now allowed more hacking on the hands again, which disrupts the flow, causes players to lose control of the puck, and then the other team gets it and flips it out. Exciting potential play immediately canceled by an infraction that should be called, and nothing happens. And so, I know maybe I'm wrong. Maybe fans enjoy it, but I think fans just get tired, and they're like, you know what? It's a gradual thing. I haven't really noticed it until you point it out to them. And that's where the NHL is. From one season to the next, 747 fewer power plays. Minnesota's at 60 fewer power plays. They played 67 games. That's one fewer power play a game for them. You got St. Louis at 56, Vegas at 55. Go down the list. Okay, there's not a bunch of other teams. There's only 3 teams that are even above 0. Dallas is up 3. Buffalo's up 3, and San Jose's up 26. That's it. The other 29 teams are all down, and down significantly. And you're going to tell me it's because of the rule changes? So the rule changes led to fewer penalties being called, and that makes the game better? Like, I'm sorry. The math doesn't math, okay? 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. But in this case, they're trying to tell you it does. And I think it's a real problem that needs to be discussed more. At least in my opinion, I think it needs to be discussed more, because it's only going to continue to get worse if no one calls it out. And you know who controls it way more than I do is the fans. Fans eventually like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to pay money to go to it. I'm not doing it. So there you go. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Alberta GMC dealers. It is truck month on now at GMC. You can get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on a 2025 Sierra HD model. See more at gmccanada.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Lighter night in the NHL. Just 5 games on the schedule at 5 o'clock. Bruins host the Sabres, the Flyers in Tampa, and the Jackets up against the Devils at 5:30. Calgary in Toronto taking on the Leafs, and at 6 o'clock the Wild hosting the Kings in the Association. The Toronto Raptors in the desert to take on the Suns. That'll get going at 8 o'clock. You also have the Nuggets and the Warriors. Bulls in Utah. Pelicans host the Pistons. Pacers meet the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Rockets and the Sixers. Heat taking on the New York Knicks. Lakers and Spurs and the Wizards in Portland. Dallas Mavericks forward Anthony Davis is heading to the G League to get some 5-on-5 work as he prepares to return from injury. Davis will be working out with the Texas Legends. They are the Mavericks G League affiliate, the 10-time All-Star. He's appeared in just one game with Dallas since they acquired him 6 weeks ago in a blockbuster trade that sent 5-time All-Star Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers. Some Jays news. Jose Barrios will get the ball as they get their season going on March 27th, taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Will be a second straight opening day start. And the Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to terms with outside linebacker Azeez Ojulari on a one-year deal worth $4 million. Ojulari was originally drafted in the second round of the 2021 draft by the New York Giants. Got 22 sacks in 46 games. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Cincinnati Bengals beat reporter Mike Petraglia and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Mr. Ruther checks off his bucket list.
Skydiving is tops on my list.
I want to go to Bali.
What's at the top of your bucket list, Mr. Ruther?
Definitely the Rubbermaid H2864R. It has 14 quarts of capacity with a spill-free pour spout and a corrosion-resistant handle. Wow, what a bucket.
You know that a bucket list isn't a list of nice buckets, right?
I do. That's how good this bucket is.
For a plumber with buckets of plumbing passion, call Mr. Ruther.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace install company for sailors because they know the value of a warm port. And they sing, there was a ship who fought the cold, who sailed the sea with a furnacey load. She brought the heat to IEG and her name was Legacy. Through icy wind and winter squall, her fire she burned for one and all with a comfort chugging guarantee, and her name was Legacy. No payments, no. Yep, no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. Don't trust just any port in a winter storm. Trust Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th, pairing hockey fans with some of their favorite players from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend in support of the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories. Friday features a Champions Luncheon followed by the teams hitting the ice on Saturday and Sunday in a friendly hockey tournament at Terwilliger Rec Center. To purchase a table to the Champions Luncheon or to learn more about how you can get involved in the tournament, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca for more info.
I am the fountain of affection. I'm the instrument of joy. To keep the good times rolling, I'm the boy. You know the world could be
Portions this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.401. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca. So even if you lose, you win, as the money goes back into infrastructure, roads, and everything else. So, hey, good luck. Maybe could we go a summer with no construction on the Hen Day? Dare to dream. Dare to dream. We'll see. We got a lot of text flying in at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're also going to get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. It is the March showroom event ongoing right now. It's their biggest sale of the year. You get fantastic deals. You can save up to $3,500 on XC60 plug-in hybrids, $5,500 on XC90 plug-in hybrids, and leasing from a 1.4 to 1.99%. So get a great deal and a better car at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The Oilers, of course, had a day off today after travel. They go into New York desperate for some wins and skated away with a 2-1 victory on Friday night and then a 3-1 victory on Sunday. The Oilers are now 28-1-1 in games where they allow 2 goals or less, which is pretty much on par for a lot of the other top teams in the NHL. Just, hey, when you only allow 2 goals or less, you got a really good chance to win. It's just, it's how it goes. So the Oilers have had more games allowing 2 than they've had games scoring 4. And offensively, there's still some hiccups there. I think that's fair to say. They did get some good news yesterday. Nugent Hopkins, first 3-point game of the season. They're going to need him to get going more offensively. Was on his own line. Now, granted, he, did assist on the power play goal, but that's fine. Doesn't matter to me where you're scoring. If you're getting points, you're getting points. You get some confidence. Arvidsson got a huge goal for them. Connor McDavid scored a huge goal for himself. I felt in those 2 games, McDavid just looked a lot more like McDavid, which will be a huge boost for the Oilers going down the stretch as they're in that race with Vegas and with LA for first and second place in the Pacific Division. If you haven't seen the updated standings, Vegas has 86 points. They got 15 games left. Edmonton has 82. They have 15 games left. LA has 81, but they have 17 games remaining, including tonight when they are on the road to take on the struggling Minnesota Wild. The Kings have won 5 in a row. The Wild are 3-6-1 in their last 10. They can't score to save their life right now. So, the Kings, who, hey, they needed a 1-0 win over Nashville to get their streak going, but hey, they're finding ways to win. And so I guess for night, Oilers fans will be rooting for Minnesota, which could help you in a roundabout way because it keeps LA behind you, but also strengthens Winnipeg's chances of holding down the number 1 wildcard spot. And that's who the winner of the Pacific Division is going to face. No one's catching Winnipeg. They got 98 points. They're going to finish first in the West. They're going to get the second wildcard team, whether it's the Canucks, Blues, Flames, or Utah. Although Minnesota isn't completely safe yet. They lose again tonight, and all of a sudden, the Blues, who are surging, like St. Louis has gained 9 points on Minnesota since they returned. That's not even a month, right? Since they returned from 4 Nations. Well, they returned to action February 22nd. That's when they started playing again. So, yeah. 23, 24, so that's, 23 days? And they've gained 9 points. So, yeah, Minnesota's gonna try to get some wins here, I would think. Down the stretch. The Oilers, we'll find out tomorrow about Matthias Ekholm. If it's not today, tomorrow, it's going to be Thursday for his return to the lineup. And when he does return, we asked the question. We got a lot of texts coming in. What would you do with the D pairs? I really liked Jake Wallman's game yesterday. I thought Bouchard played well too. So do you keep him there? to ease Ekholm back in. I don't think it's a bad idea, to be honest. I would probably lean to Ekholm, and maybe he plays with Emberson and you just play Kulak with Nurse for a bit. And eventually Ekholm's going to get back up to speed, but I don't think you have to do it in the first game, do you? Not when you got Jake Wallman playing the way he's for sure in your top 4. There's no question in my mind. It's just a matter of they're going to play Wallman with Bouchard, they're going to play Wallman with Nurse. If he plays with Bouchard, he's on his normal side. So then Kulak is normally the guy who moves to the right side. We haven't seen Ekholm play the right side very much. So I think that's what would be it. Hey, Greggs, what did you think of Jeff Skinner's game yesterday? Well, he drew 2 penalties. You know what? He was engaged. He was pretty annoyed on the power play, the penalty that he took. He didn't like the call. It's a cross check. You don't have to like it, but to me, it's a call. But yeah, I like Skinner's game. I thought he was engaged. He had a few chances. He's kind of struggling around the net right now, but he was engaged. You know what? Had the breakaway. I think he kind of just lost handle of the puck when he tried to make one extra move, and then it just kind of slid harmlessly into the goal. But yeah, you're not taking him out of the lineup right now. That's obvious. So Zach Hyman, we'll find out. He was day to day. Does he extra days rest? He took the warm up, right? Was out in the morning skate, but didn't play. And we'll find out if he's ready to go tomorrow. Again, it's a situation where you have time, take it. Like if you can't beat Utah without Zach Hyman, you got bigger issues. You got to find ways to win games without your full roster sometimes. So I don't have a problem with it. Hey, Greggs, the way they were playing, I'd play Ekholm with anybody but Bouchard. The two of them seem to struggle together lately. Well, you're fair on the numbers. The numbers weren't glowing for the two of them lately. So that's why I don't have a problem with it. So I'm not going to ask Ekholm to play the right side. So he's probably going to play with Emberson, and then you can have Kulak play with Nurse. I guess you could put Kulak with Bouchard, but after the last game, I'd probably keep Bouchard with Wallman. Hey, guys, I think Skinner's going to be this year's Pisani. Oh, man. Well, that was quite the playoffs for old Fernando. 14 Genos. Ooh, mama. That's hard to match. Him, Torres, and Pekka were a heck of a line. Yeah, that would be great. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a fun sponge, but I don't see that, man. Like, first of all, scoring 14 is really hard, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'd like to think so for Skinner. Like, who knows? If he gets to the playoffs, you got to think he'll be uber jacked. He's never played a playoff game, but I'm not holding my breath for that. Hey, man, if Skinner can score you 4 or 5 big goals, that would be a huge improvement. Huge improvement for sure. So we'll see where it goes from there, but that'd be a big benefit. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, looking at the Oilers lineup, Trent Frederick, first of all, any update on his status? And second of all, where do you think he's going to play? Thanks, from Frank. Well, I know he was working out last week. The plan is for him to skate this week. Now, I don't know if skating, usually they skate on their own for a day or two. He hadn't skated on his own as of Friday. Now, maybe he did on the weekend. I haven't checked in since. But I know as of Friday, he'd yet to skate on his own. So, you know what? Gets on the ice a few days. So could I see him join the Oilers practice on Wednesday? Very plausible. Right? Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Frederick on Wednesday. He'll need a few skates, so maybe Saturday. But when you look at the Oilers schedule, and they play Saturday, but then they don't play again till next Wednesday, it's that's an extra basically 4 days of rest, right? Because if he doesn't play Saturday, so he has Saturday off, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, extra 4 days. I could see it if you don't want to rush him, that's where I see him. Now, where are they going to play him? It's a great question. I personally would like to see him on the left wing, but Stan Bowman said on the show that kind of hinted they're going to try him as center to start. So does that mean Nugent Hopkins goes back, or does Henrique stay on the wing? We'll see. But he's not great in faceoffs, but he's good positionally defensively, right? Faceoffs are just one element of it, so you could do it. But I don't know. I'd like to kind of see him on Draisaitl's left wing selfishly, just because they need someone there who can finish a little bit. They just doesn't matter. Like Podkolzin right now, he couldn't score in the Ocean. They don't have a left winger who's got much finish 5-on-5. That's their problem. So, I like Skinner's game. I would keep him. I'd keep him up in the top 6 for the. Why not? See what can happen. Like maybe that guy can get hot because he's obviously he knows how to score. His career will tell us he knows how to score. So, hey Gregor, so it's less calls for everyone, making it fair for less effective power plays from Drew. Well, there is that, Drew. You're right. It, you're punishing again. Are you guys good offensively? God, we don't want that. But that's the history of the NHL. I think people forget that in the 80s, the Oilers at 4-on-4 were so dominant that the NHL think about this. They changed the rule so when you had coincidental penalties, it wouldn't be 4-on-4. It would be 5-on-5. Why? Because Edmonton scored too much 4-on-4. So rather than force the other teams to get better at 4-on-4, they said, we're going to punish the good team offensively. And that has been the mindset of the NHL forever. And it is so ridiculous. Like they can't get out of their way. These other leagues are doing everything they can because they figured it out. The whole offense, whatever, and defense wins championships, not true. Of course, we can show you the numbers on it. But I tell you right now, in the regular season, fans want to be entertained. Entertainment sells. Lead changes. Unpredictability. That's what makes the game more exciting. Now, you can have an unpredictable, excellent 2-1 game. You can. Sometimes the goalie's going to stand on his head. Awesome. But it can't be the norm. It shouldn't be the norm. You can't have you claim to have the fastest game on 2 feet, which means you got to make split-second decisions. And the less time you have to make a decision, that increases the chances of you making the wrong decision. Wrong decisions lead to turnovers. Turnovers lead to scoring chances. Scoring chances lead to goals. Goals lead to excitement. People getting emotionally invested. These are all good things. But the NHL is like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. Hey, Gregor, you're bang on. The league changed the goalie who were good, who puck handled it because one guy was too good at it, from Paul. Another great example. Right? Geez, guys, we don't want our goalies who can really handle the puck. Yeah, let's limit them on where they can handle it at. Now, in theory, if you would have said, now you could have done it 2 ways. You just said, hey, goalies can handle the puck, but we're not going to protect you as much. If there's a forechecker coming in and you pass the puck and you're a foot away and he's a stride away, he can hit you. All right? That would solve the problem. Because before it was like the goalie's out there, no one could touch him. Right? That would have been the easy change. And all of a sudden, goalie's like, do I want to get out there? Probably not. I want to get my bell rung. Hey, guys, I don't think we have to look too far. Just get Skinner going. He'll be the answer. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I hope you're right. I'm not that confident that I see it, to be honest. I'm just not. Cons, where are you at on Skinner? Jeff, that is.
I mean, you always hope he can kind of turn into that player that we know he has been in his career. I don't know if you can just turn it on immediately. And I do think there is something, going from a team that never makes the playoffs then to the Oilers. Like, you have to be a little bit more responsibly defensively. You got to back check. One of the things I will say, though, Gregor, I mean, I liked his reaction to the cross check. I like to see him ticked off, fired up, like in the game. That's what I want to see from him a little bit more. So I didn't love the penalty, but his reaction was like, okay, he cares. That's a guy to me who realizes the position he's in. He's had a tough go. He's been in the press box. He knows he can't be doing those types of things. So I kind of like to see that reaction. You got him around. I mean, I don't know what the situation is going to be. Obviously, we know Trent Frederick's going to get in the lineup, and then you're going to have Evander Kane potentially as well in the playoffs. We'll see what kind of shape he's in. But I mean, to me, he's just a guy he's got to take advantage of his opportunities. He can't let this one slip through his fingers because at some point he's not going to get another chance. The playoffs are going to be too important, and he'll be phased out by then. So I'm hoping for the best. I want to see him have success. I want to see him play in the playoffs because he's obviously, as we all know, hasn't ever been there. I want to see what he can do But yeah, I mean, it's good to see it. It's in his hands. I think he controls it. He's going to have to prove that he can be more than just that guy that scored 30, 40 goals on a bad team. He's got to do more things to it.
Yeah. Hey, guys, look at Connor Brown last year from Riley. Yeah, I think it's concerning to think, you know what? Hey, now Connor Brown was coming off an injury all year long and admitted that, you know what, it took him a while. He didn't really feel, in his words, he didn't have much pop early on, right? And, you know, people are like, yeah, he played. Now, do you guys know how many goals Connor Brown scored in the playoffs last year? 2. Now, he killed penalties very well, but he scored 2 goals in 19 games. Prorate that in a full season, you're talking 8 goals. It wasn't like, oh my God, right? Now he has 8 goals in 67 games this year, probably on pace to get to 10, right? Which is fine. But a different type of player, and was very good on the penalty kill. But Skinner isn't on the penalty kill. He's not on the power play. So, yeah, I don't know. I think people have to be cautious about hoping that they're going to repeat last year, right? Like, again, the Oilers penalty kill was like something we hadn't seen. They were -1 in 25 games. -1 on the penalty kill in 25 games. Right? Like, that's mind-blowing stuff. You're not going to do that again. It would be very odd to do it again. Let's just say that. Right? They allowed 4 power play goals. They scored 3 shorties. It's amazing. It was an unbelievable run. It played a huge factor in them going to the Stanley Cup final. But can they do it again? You know, like, so number one, you only allow 12. Like, look at, so the Oilers penalty kill this year. I want to look at it quickly. How many, because that would be over just if we do 75 games, right? They would be allowing 12 goals on the penalty kill. Well, the Oilers went a stretch where I think they allowed 12 goals in 12 games actually on the penalty kill. So not great. But this season, the Oilers have allowed in 67 games 38 power play goals. Right? Their penalty kill is 76.5. It's a pretty big jump to think that it's going to get back to where it was. I hope they do. But I'm just saying the odds of that stuff happening again are very, very rare. So 4:18. That's the old report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. When we come back, is this the way to build a winning team? Because I have a sneaking suspicion. I'm going to make a comparison for the big signings that everybody's talking about. I see a direct correlation between the NFL and the NHL. And I don't think it's a correlation that the team wants. But I'll make the connection. We'll talk about it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
What would you do if you won $1 million in the Service Big Share contest? Maybe you'd have more time for... or do a little more.
This is your final boarding call for flight number 419.
Or finally, more. Entering to win the $1 million is easy. Just bring your savings to Service or add more to your account. The more you save, the more Service Big Share contest entries you get. Service Credit Union. Feel good about your money. Now open to Connect First members. Contest ends April 30th, 2025. Skill test required. For rules, visit service.ca/win.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and Echo Pro Attachment Series. With one power head and 16 different attachments, the Echo PAS powers through almost any spring cleanup job. And speaking of power, Echo now has a battery-powered power head that uses the same attachments as gas. Find out how commercial landscapers can save 20% for 24 months with the Landscaper Fleet Discount Program. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
You know what they say about March: in like a lamb, out with a Honda. Or is it in like a lion out with a Honda? Either way, Sherwood Honda has inventory on the lot, so you can march right down and get yours today. New or used, sedan or coupe, SUV or truck, Sherwood Honda has it with financing available. And their service department will keep you rolling as time marches on. This March, you have an in at Sherwood Honda. Now sing us out.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by RV Wars. RV Wars is back. Multiple dealers all battling for your business, clearing out the last remaining 2024's pre-tariff pricing. Don't miss out on an incredible deal. Visit rvwars.ca for details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$423, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having a lovely Monday. 5 games in the NHL. Ones that involve, concern the Oilers, I guess you could say. Of course, the Kings taking on Minnesota. And really, that's about it. The Flames, they make the playoffs. They don't make the playoffs. The odds of them playing the Oilers are virtually zero at this point. Maybe 2%, but they're pretty low. Let's get to our NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter or cool all summer with an AC unit at legacyheating.ca. And big news in the football world over the weekend, of course, as the Cincinnati Bengals. There's lots of talk. People thought maybe they would lose T. Higgins. Well, they didn't lose T. Higgins. They got him and Mr. Chase both locked in for 4-year deals. Pretty big deals. To discuss it all, Mike Petralia joins us from the Jungle Roar podcast and CLNS Media. And Mike, obviously this is exciting for Bengals fans. Are you surprised they got this done? Or because it kind of seems like the owner said, I want this to happen. You guys make it happen.
I think that's a good way of putting it, Jason. Certainly I'm not surprised Jamar Chase got done, even though it was the more expensive deal, 4 years, $161 million with $112 million guaranteed. But the T. Higgins deal really came together once he fired his old agent, David Mulligetta of Athletes First, and went with Rocky Arsenault. Well, why is that significant? That's because that's the same agent as Jamar Chase. So Ever since that point in December when Higgins made the agent change and Joe Burrow came out after the Monday night game against the Dallas Cowboys and said, I think we're going to have both of these players back, not just one. And I think T. Higgins will be back next year with us. Ever since those statements were made by the leader of the team, it kind of seemed like it was a fait accompli and that this deal would be a twofer, if you will, till it got completed. And over the weekend, it did get completed.
So when you look at this team, obviously they got three guys making over 28 mil. I think they're one of a few teams in the NFL that does that. But they're all offensive guys. When you look at the construction of this team, they've had these guys before. Obviously, they're a great passing trio if we throw in the quarterback with them. But are they able now to fill in their offensive line and the defense where they obviously gave, even with these three high-powered guys, they couldn't outscore their problems defensively. So what do you make of kind of from a team building roster structure? Doesn't make sense.
Well, I think if you look at it the way they do, they were not going to lose their three best players. They wanted to pay top dollar to their best players, and I think that's what they've done. Your question about can they fill in some other holes, not only on defense, but certainly on the offensive line, I think that point is a very good one, Jason, and it's something that they're going to have to address, I think, in the next week or two. They're going to have to find a starting offensive guard. I think they're comfortable letting the other guard position battle out in training camp between a third-year player and a couple of younger players. But the other starting guard position, I think they're going to have to go out and sign someone. But the sense inside the organization, from what some people have told me, is that until they got the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins 2-for-1 combo deal done, they weren't going to have a good idea of A, how much money they had left in the cap, and B, they actually made cap space by getting these two deals done at the same time with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins working their deal through Rocky Arsenault, their agent, so that they could have more cap space to go out and get some more offensive players. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. Certainly there's a lot of work to be done along the defensive front. They have gone out and gotten a defensive tackle. They still have the matter of Trey Hendrickson, the other star player that is waiting a massive contract extension. We'll see if that gets done in the next couple of days. I think it could. But that was the thinking with the front office with the Bengals. Get the two best players under contract with Joe Burrow and move forward from there.
Okay. So you look at the Bengals, and now that they got their three guys, they're locked in, they know what they're doing. What do you feel like? What's their approach going to be at the draft?
Defensive line. There's no question that this is a draft that is stocked with defensive tackles and edge rushers. And I think they're going to draft certainly each in the first 3 to 4 rounds of this draft. And they feel like both of those players would, even as rookies, would be able to and contribute to the pass rush. Last year, the pass rush essentially consisted of Trey Hendrickson and not much else. And they know they can't have that kind of lack of pressure on the quarterback next year. I will tell you that in the final 5 to 6 weeks of the season, their defense was drastically better. I think with a new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, coming in from Notre Dame, I think he's going to put more of an emphasis on pursuing the football and also doing a better job tackling. I think that will be an emphasis as well.
Looking at, their division, they got some good teams in that division. There's not, it's especially the Ravens, of course. Even the Steelers are always competitive, right? They might not be dominant, but they're always competitive. And so, in the NFL, you can't get out of your division. It's really hard to go anywhere. But when you look back at last year, they had a slow start, and even a slow start a little bit offensively for them. And they didn't play any of their guys in preseason. Have you talked to any of these teams? It almost seems like the first 3 weeks of the regular season are bordering an extension now on the preseason. I think that's going to change. Are we going to see some of these teams say, at least let's use our number one unit for half a game in the preseason?
I think that's been a subject of that. It's been a terrific conversation piece here in Cincinnati. What are the Bengals going to do to avoid another 0-3 start like they had last year? And when they started the season last year, Jason, they were not winning battles in the trenches. That's got to change right out of the chute. And I think certainly going out and acquiring a guy like TJ Slayton from the Green Bay Packers, a pure nose tackle, helps them be tougher on the defensive side of the ball in the trenches. Offensively, I think certainly they've got their two big wide receivers signed, but they also have Chase Brown, who I think can be an effective running back for them. They need to be better in the trenches. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And to your point, the way to get better right away out of the chute in terms of the schedule is to play these guys more in the preseason. And I think there is certainly a lot of talk inside the Bengals building of doing just that this summer.
When you see the Bengals and you watch their defense, you talk about the defensive line as obviously an area of upgrade needed. What about their work in free agency? What did you make of that? Would you give them a grade?
Well, it's almost incomplete, but I'd say right now a C+. TJ Slayton brings it up from a D very quickly. He is a 2-year contract at a good cap number, $15 million over those 2 years. So that really does help give them some beef in the middle of the defensive line. They haven't addressed the defensive edge yet. They haven't gotten a linebacker to go with Logan Wilson as a middle linebacker. So I can't see them holding on to Jermaine Pratt, who was asked for a trade. They're going to have to find a linebacker and probably another defensive edge to really fill out the free agency part of it. But a big part, Jason, of their free agency strategy was re-signing their own. B.J. Hill, they're bringing back. Joseph Osai, an edge rusher, they're bringing back. Mike Gesicki, the tight end, they're bringing him back. Tanner Hudson, another tight end, they're bringing him back. So you kind of get the theme here. They believe very much this year, this particular offseason, that a big part of the free agency pie was bringing back their own free agents.
Okay. And obviously T. Higgins is one of those guys, but
correct.
They can bring back their own free agents. Did they bring back the right ones outside of Higgins?
That's a tough question. I think so. I think they have at this point. And the reason I say that is because Joe Burrow did not want his guys leaving the building. Jamar Chase, who wasn't a free agent, but certainly T. Higgins and Mike Gesicki, all of them figured very prominently in the offense last year. Bringing a guy back like B.J. Hill and someone back like Joseph Osai gives them some depth pieces, if not playmakers. In that regard, I think they did bring back the right pieces. The problem the Bengal fans have is, okay, what are you going to do to improve upon a defense that was in the bottom 10 last year? That's where I think a lot of Bengal fans have issues. And that's where, from my point of view, the Bengals have not done enough yet.
Yeah. Do you expect them, like at the draft, do you see them being trading up? Do you see them trading down? Or are they just going to make their picks and move on?
They very rarely move up or down. They have only 6 picks this year, and barring an unforeseen trade of Trey Hendrickson, they're going to stay at only 6 picks this year in the 7 rounds of the draft. I see them staying right where they are. I think they're going to do a lot of business on the defensive side of the ball, like I said earlier, in terms of drafting a tackle, drafting an edge rusher, and perhaps even drafting a linebacker. That's where I see a lot of their work coming in the upcoming NFL draft.
Awesome stuff, man. We really appreciate it. I'm assuming, Mike, it's big news in Cincinnati. They're all excited. They got their big 3 back, and offensively, they should be highly entertaining. If they can get an offensive line, they'd be a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, yes, they would, and it has certainly made St. Patrick's Day here in Cincinnati a little bit more worth celebrating, if you will.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, Jason. Take care.
There you go. That's Mike Petralia joining us from Cincinnati. So here's what I'll say about the Bengals. when I look at the construction of their team, Connor Halley, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I know it's different sports, so it can't be a direct. But when I see how Cincy's built their team, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what the Toronto Maple Leafs did. They signed 4 big offensive guys, and they never addressed the defense, the goaltending. So if we look at goaltenders kind of like offensive linemen and defense is defense, right now, Cincy's not better in those positions. They got the offensive guys, but they don't have the rest.
Yeah, we talked about it on Fantasy Frenzy, Brandon and I. We said, when was the last time a team with a heavy loaded offense won a Super Bowl? Like that didn't rely on their defense to a certain extent. We went back to 2020, the Kansas City Chiefs. Before that, though, like the Patriots, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Seattle Seahawks, the Ravens, all these teams have stout defenses. The Chiefs the last couple of years, Philadelphia. It's tough to win with just a loaded up offense. Go back to Super Bowl, like, I don't even know the year, but the Patriots when they had Randy Moss and almost went undefeated. What slowed them down? The Giants front four. So it is a bit of an interesting way to go about it. I guess, playing devil's advocate, the Denver Broncos defense last year was really good. Can you name more than 2 starters? Like it was Patrick Surtain and other guys. So they found players to make it worth. They were the 3rd best when it came to points against. They even lost their starting middle linebacker midway through the season. So you can play good defense, but you got to coach them up and you got to have really good players out there. It's going to be tough. I personally wouldn't be building my team that way, but they are going to keep their fans happy. They'll keep Joe Burrow happy, and you and I will benefit because we'll get to watch some fun football.
Well, they will be exciting for sure. There's that, they got greatest helmets. They got a pretty good trio of offensive guys. Now can they? And hey, I really like I like their running back too. Make no mistake, they got to have a playmaker running back. But their offensive line, and obviously they'll draft the D line, but they better improve their defense because, while it's entertaining, it's not a recipe for long-term success if that's what they want. 437, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We talked a lot about the refereeing or lack thereof in the NHL, the reduction in power plays this year. Like, it is ridiculous. 747 fewer power plays this year, this time, through the same number of games as last year. Teams like Minnesota are down 60 power plays. The Oilers are down 34 from last year to this time. Vegas 55, St. Louis 56, Colorado, Nashville 41, LA 48, Chicago 49. And it's set, what is it? 8 of the top 11 teams in drops are all in the Western Conference. So that's a little bit odd to me as well. And what's unfortunate is when you hear some of the quotes coming out today of day one of the NHL's GM meetings, everything's good. Even strength scoring's up. Yeah, because you have more time. Even strength because you refuse to call actual penalties. Goal scoring isn't up. Goal scoring's down. Don't try to finagle the numbers and think that your fans are foolish enough. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to add up all the goals, see what the goals per game is, and be like, well, that's lower than last year. Oh, so there's fewer games going to a shootout. Great. That doesn't matter. Like, that's good, but that's not what's benefiting the league. Call penalties. Just call them. That's all we ask. No one's asked. You don't need to make a rule change. Just enforce the rule book. I know it's crazy. I know it's really outside the box thinking for the NHL, but just try it. And go read the article at OilersNation.com. I can't do all the numbers. You go read it and you will be blown away to see the reduction in power plays year by year. It's awful. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th, pairing hockey fans with some of their favorite players from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend in support of the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories. Friday features a champions luncheon followed by the teams hitting the ice on Saturday and Sunday in a friendly hockey tournament at Terwilliger Rec Center. To purchase a table to the champions luncheon or to learn more about how you can get involved in the tournament, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca for more info.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Dang! Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang! They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference.
Yes!
FittedGolf.ca.
Truck Month is on now at GMC, and it's one of the best times to get behind the wheel. Right now, get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models with a 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen, and available Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine with 470 horsepower. Plus, the most trailering assistance technologies in its class. Sierra has some serious hauling power and is the only off-road ready HD. Truck Month is on now. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Don't settle for being on the rate of last resort if you don't have to be. Check your most recent electricity bill. If it says the words rate of last resort on it, then there are likely better options available for you. In fact, you could save hundreds of dollars per year by switching plans. Check your bill, then go to ucahelps.ca to explore your options. You will likely find a better rate and could have hundreds more in your pocket by the end of the year. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.444. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having yourselves an awesome Monday. A little bit more calm in Oilers Nation today. But we got you fired up with the power plays because it is a joke if you're just joining us. But power plays have been down significantly across the NHL this season to the tune of, in the Western Conference alone, 450 fewer power plays for those 16 teams this year compared to last year at this same time. Minnesota's down 60. St. Louis 56, Vegas 55, Chicago 49, LA 48, Nashville, Colorado 41, the Oilers 34. Then you go to the East, and none of the East teams are even in the top 7, but you do have the Red Wings and the Flyers at minus 38 and the Rangers at minus 35. So 3 of the 11 biggest drops in the East, the rest are in the West. And like there's no sane reason for it other than the NHL. And guess what? Scoring is down. The NHL is trying to tell you that scoring's up. What? I don't know why did they think we're idiots? It takes 2 seconds to add up the goals to see the goals are actually down from last year. They're down from the year before that. They're down from the year before that. Like they had a little bit of an uptick for a bit, but now the NHL is like, oh, God forbid we had 3.14 goals a game. That's too much. That's too much. We got to get back to 2.8 and 2.9. Let's get the power plays down. Let's have our skilled guys have to fight through it because that's hockey. Yeah, let's punish the best players. What a magnificent business model. Hey, what is, because we had this one. Hey, Gregor, it's because of the gambling sites. They want closer games. Now, I'll just indulge your thought for a second. Do you know how much more betting there is in the United States on the NFL than there is on the NHL? Like, it's not even close. Okay? Not even remotely close. Now, what has the NFL done the last few years? They've put in rules to, wait for it, increase offense, increase scoring, while they have way more people gambling. So don't blame the gambling sites. I'm sorry. It's ill-advised. It makes no sense. It's not true. Right? It's not true. Now, have they said we want more accuracy? That's why shots on goal are down, because now they're tracking it accurately. The goalie stops the puck with his glove a foot outside the net. They don't call it a shot on goal, because if he didn't touch it, it wasn't going in the net. But that doesn't increase offense, and it doesn't limit offense. It just reduces shots on goal, which then actually increases shooting percentage and lowers the save percentage, because now in a game, instead of facing 30 shots, a goalie faces 27, still allows 3 goals. Instead of a 900 save percentage, you have an 889 save percentage. That's the difference. Doesn't impact the goals. So that has no bearing on it whatsoever. They don't care. If all of a sudden there's an increase in offense, well, guess what? The line goes up a half. Instead of 6, it'll be 6.5. That's it. It's not hard to do. They can adjust very easily. They have because this has been a problem well before gambling ever came in. Okay? As I outlined, the last 11 years are the lowest 11 years in NHL history of power play opportunities per game. You go back to 2009, which isn't that long ago, and the team who had the fewest power plays per game, Boston, 3.66, is higher now than the team with the most power play chances per game, Ottawa, at 3.21. 3.66 used to be the lowest. Now the highest is 3.21. You know what? The high used to be like 4.7. There were years where some teams had 5. The Nashville Predators in 2004 averaged 5.2 power play opportunities per game. And then they changed the rules because there was too much obstruction. And now you have a team who's number 1 at 3.2. And everyone's like, our league could never be in a better place. Thank you very much. Give me a break. Enough. It's got to stop. Need more people. And I love the game of hockey, but I don't like it when it's constant non-calls. Just call the damn power play. Call the damn penalties. Because guess what? Eventually the players will stop it. So now when those super fast guys go by they don't have to take a slash. Now they can make a great play. Even more entertaining. I'm all for it. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by the Brick Mattress Store. Where? You need to sleep better? Well, you go see the experts at the Brick Mattress Store, and they will find you the proper mattress to give you the night's sleep that you deserve. The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, I think we might have a similar answer on this one. We're heading down the home stretch in the NHL season 1 through 3. What would your MVP power rankings look like right now?
Today it would be Draisaitl. It would be McKinnon, and third place is honestly, I think, where you get the real discussion. I'd probably go Kucherov. About a month ago, Jack Eichel would have been there, but he's kind of slipped off.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm kind of with you. Those top 2. If you want to say Nathan McKinnon, I'll listen to your argument. I'm going Leon Draisaitl. He's my MVP. 10 game-winning goals. hear people say 5 came in overtime. Well, that's when a guy steps up and makes big plays for his team and gets them 2 points.
Are people actually complaining about overtime goals now?
Well, people complain about everything.
Oh.
And they've had 15 overtimes. The Avs have had 9.
Okay, but how many? So just wait. So the Avs are complaining about that. Well, then just quickly look at empty net. If you're worried about 3-on-3 goals, just say, wait a sec. How many empty net points do you have? That would probably calm them down.
Exactly. And for fun, I'll just say, let's throw a goalie in there. Connor Halley at my third spot. Won't happen. It's 1 or 2, but I'll throw him in there. Question number 2 for you. What letter grade would you give the Oilers on their most recent road trip?
Actually, you know what? There are certain elements of the game I thought were better than people thought. I didn't really have... Stuart Skinner made 1 error the whole road trip that he played. Nate Thompson, who shoots the puck pretty hard, he didn't control the rebound, went to grab with the stick. That was it. So I would probably say overall, while their offense, though, still meh. So I would give them like a B-, maybe a C, because they're 500. So yeah, I guess I'll go a C.
Yeah, I'd C+. The loss in Buffalo was tough. Devils, yeah, I'm just hoping that they're building off their last 2 and not the first 2. Great to see Connor McDavid take that shot from the slot. 1 registered shot, 1 goal. We'll take it, and I'm hoping he'll continue that trend and maybe shoot the puck just a little bit more. But C+ for me. C's get degrees. Question number 3 for you. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, would you have paid those top 2 receivers or let one walk and spend the money elsewhere?
That's a good question. I'd probably, if I was going to let one move, I would have tried to trade them, right? To try to get some, because you know what? Yeah, you free up the money, but if you free up money and you don't have a better player, then I'd rather keep the better player. So that would be my strategy. I'm not just going to say, here, you walk, I'm not going to sign you. If I have guys I guaranteed could have signed in free agency elsewhere, then I would have done it. But clearly they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have tried to move on from one, and it would have been T. Higgins. I mean, there's no way I'm moving on from Jamar Chase. Happy to pay him the money. I think he's that good. And
did you see Chase's numbers, though, when Higgins was out?
No.
Yeah.
Or did they drop off a little bit?
Yes, quite a bit.
Still won the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So still a really good player. Yeah, great compliment. Like, give me that duo over any duo in the league right now. But I just think they're going to have a hard time. And then you get to those cold games against Pittsburgh, and Cleveland's cold. Baltimore, is the passing going to be as effective? We shall see. Hopefully Chase can get it going for them in the backfield. But yeah, I think I would have let one walk and try to improve the defense. Question number 4 for you. Since we're approaching the madness, who do you think comes out of each region?
Go ahead.
I'm so boring. I don't know anything about college basketball. I'm going all number 1 seeds. I will say from the Midwest, I looked at Tennessee as I picked the brain of Brandon Douglas earlier today. He says they're boom or bust. But I'm going to go with Houston, Florida, Auburn, and Duke, and just hope I get at least 2 of them right.
Well, Duke's injury to their best players obviously makes them quite vulnerable, I would think. So I'm going to take... I'm going to go a little surprised. I'm going to take Wisconsin, Houston, Florida, and I'm going to go Michigan State.
Now, if Declan can run over very quickly, I'd love to get his picks. If he wants to give his out of each region, he's going to save that for later. Maybe later on, we'll get to that one. Final question for you, Gregor. It is St. Patrick's Day. What is the best green uniform in all of sports?
It's not even a question. Hartford Whalers.
If I take that away, do you have a backup?
Minnesota North Stars.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that's a good pick. You know what? It's probably not going to be on too many big boards when it comes to North America, but give me the Warren Moon era Edmonton Eskimos jersey with the double E and the white on the sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
I think that big yellow letters.
Okay.
I love that jersey.
I could see that. Oh, that's not bad at all.
Celtics are good. I like the Maple Leafs when they go St. Pat's, but give me the Eskimos. I guess it would have been 80s.
Yeah, that would have been like, prime Grey Cup years.
Yeah. Clean look.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
All right. Hey guys, I'm not even a Leafs fan, but their St. Pat's Day, are their Pats on that they wear on St. Patty's Day is pretty good. Oh, the old school one? I saw a picture of that actually floating around earlier today on social media. And I will say it's not bad. It's pretty sharp. But you know what I kind of like? And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really like Dallas's neon green right now. Sick uni. 4:55 coming up. We got Speck and Kevin Woodley to talk goaltending and much more. But first, let's get to the con man and Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire, where stop in at Fountain Tire. Did you know that, hey, the wear and tear on your tires, man, if all of a sudden the roads, they're pretty rough. Now your tires are wearing unevenly. It's not good. It's going to lead to potentially an issue with your tire, but it's going to hurt the efficiency of your vehicle, everything else. So ensure you get the right tires right now at Fountain Tire.
The Sports 1440 update.
Just 5 games on the NHL schedule tonight, getting going shortly. Bruins host the Sabres, Flyers in Tampa, and the Devils taking on the Jackets at 5:30. Leafs host the Flames. Then at 6 o'clock, the Kings take on the Minnesota Wild in the association. Toronto heading to Phoenix to take on the Suns. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Elsewhere, Heat taking on the Knicks. Rockets host the Sixers. Pacers in Minneapolis. Pelicans up against the Pistons. Bulls travel to Salt Lake. Kings host the Grizz. Wizards in Portland. And the Lakers up against the Spurs. Dallas Mavericks forward Anthony Davis will be heading to the G League to get in some 5-on-5 work as he prepares to return from his injury. Davis will be working out with the Texas Legends, the Mavs G League affiliate. From the majors, Jose Barrios is getting the ball for the Jays opening day. That'll be March 27th against the Baltimore Orioles at the Rogers Center. It'll be his second straight opening day start. And from the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles coming to terms with outside linebacker Azeez Ojulari on a 1-year deal worth $4 million. He was originally a second-round pick by the New York Giants in 2021. The team also coming to terms with offensive tackle Lane Johnson on a 1-year contract extension that'll keep him in green till at least the 2027 season. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Come on in. Nissan is proudly celebrating 60 years in Canada, where you can get the versatile Kicks Play for a great price that offers best-in-class fuel economy. It's a great time to press play. Right now, lease the 2025 Kicks Play for the equivalent of $60 weekly for 39 months. Offer includes $1,000 anniversary bonus cash. That's for $261 monthly with 2.95 down at 4.99%. Fuel economy based on highway and combined. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Spring melt is here, and with it comes the risk of flooding basements, foundations, and window wells.
Keep an eye on excess water runoff and protect your home. Call Avalon Construction at 780-468-4400. Home of the lifetime warranty.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2 fours for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock on a lovely Monday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. And be sure, if you're thinking about it, your one-stop shop. Get into PlayAlberta.ca. If you like casinos, lotteries, games, they got it all. PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers, of course, did not skate today. Traveled yesterday, got in late, so they will be on the ice tomorrow, getting set to take on Utah. And we had Dylan Gunther in the first hour, have himself a great season, 24 goals and 48 points in 55 games, and really kind of his first full season in the NHL. And he has been he's been more than worth it. And Utah looking like, hey, that was a pretty good contract extension that they signed him to. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They are the underground infrastructure specialists. From getting you running water to your home, maybe you sit and have a tub tonight, or just driving on the freeway, getting home safe. They do it all underground, unnoticed. GS Construction. As we welcome to the show, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good. St. Patty's Day. You have a cold Guinness yet?
Well, I like my Guinness warm, actually, not cold. If you're going to have a Guinness, yeah, it's better. It's better room temperature, actually. Tastes better. But no, I did actually. I stopped in at Sherbrooke on Saturday and got their 6-pack shanty. And so I tried. They had this new Irish ale, the Red Irish Ale, 808. Had it last night. It was pretty good, and I will be having another one tonight.
So there you go. Nice.
Yeah. So it's good. Yeah, I should have brought a Guinness to work. That actually would have been not a bad idea at all.
Could have worn some green. Could have worn some green too, you ogre.
Oh, you know what? I don't have a green T-shirt, actually. I could have worn a green toque, but it's too hot in here. I do have my green mug. There you go. I have a green mug. So there you go. I have something. What I have green on, Spec, you don't want to see it. So, we'll keep it PG. Now, the Edmonton Oilers needed 2 wins, I think, to salvage that road trip, and they got them with much better defensive efforts, solid goaltending, and some timely goals from their top guns.
Yeah, I think, for some reason, and call me crazy, I thought I saw, I think they made the shift from the Islanders game. I thought, Jason, they played great defensively, but their offense was just limp. I thought they just had nothing. And then I thought yesterday against the Rangers, I started to see a team that had just as good a defensive posture and limited. 22 shots on goal on the road is awfully good. But they were a little better offensively. I thought Shesterkin got tested a little bit more, right? And, when it's 2-1 and McDavid, we haven't seen this. We've seen it a lot in our lives, but we haven't seen it a lot lately. it's a 2-1 game. It's crunch time, and McDavid took that puck and stepped right in and scored the 3-1 goal to put that game away. I thought I saw last night a team that reminded me a little more of what this team wants to be. Did anyone else see that?
You look at, they had some really good chances right there. They probably could have ended up being up, Brown right in front, Nugent Hopkins right on the doorstep, missed the net. And they didn't, Skinner had to make key saves at times, but he wasn't overly pressed. Actually, I thought on the road trip, outside of one rebound control, I thought Stuart Skinner's been really good dating back to the Montreal game, to be honest. So I think it's a stretch of good games. Pickard obviously was very solid. Then he got a nice heads up assist in overtime to start the play. McDavid up to Draisaitl. But I like the Oilers defense game. I really like Jake Wallman in that game yesterday.
Yep, blocking shots. I saw he blocked, I think, a game high 5 or 6. Other guys blocking shots. Like I just gotta, they're kind of flipping the switch over from a team that has to play so well defensively because we can't score to a team they're doing what they want to do. I thought at least for one game in a row. They got to do it more. But to me, Jay, like when they were good at the end of last season, we all know these things to be true. When the playoffs come, scoring goes down, right? We know that's true. When the playoffs come, your best guys, they clamp down on them. And if you don't have support scoring, you probably don't win enough to win rounds. We know that to be true. And the Oilers are a team, they'll say, okay, let's limit chances. You're going to get less chances. We're going to get less chances. But we feel like our offense is strong enough that with less chances, we're going to be the team that gets to 3 and you're not. And I know that's where they're trying to get, and I'm not sure they're completely there yet, but I think that's the end goal. And I thought last night was a little bit of a look at that. There weren't many shots on either end, and we're going to get 3 goals and you're not. And that's what happened last night.
When Ekholm comes back, whether it's tomorrow or Thursday, where do you play him?
Well, I mean, he no doubt plays. Wallman's been good with Bouchard. I like that. I mean, I think it's going to go. So what are our choices? Our choices are you go Ekholm right back next to Bouchard, or you go Ekholm. Well, I mean, yeah, and then I don't want Ekholm or Nurse out of my top 4.
But for your first game back after a few weeks off, having played well,
okay,
I think, yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
For a game or two. I'm kind of thinking, I took your question more as a big picture thing. Like, to me, I can't see how your top 4 isn't some version of Embers or of Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, and Ekholm in some order. So we can talk about what order they're going to be. It doesn't have to be Ekholm and Bouchard, but that's what it's been up till now. Do you think that changes?
Well, I really think there's Ekholm and Bouchard haven't had a great year together, and you can look at the numbers. And Ekholm, he's been injured, he's been sick, and so he's coming off of that. And the way Wallman's playing, like for me, I just don't need to rush back and be like, oh my God, Ekholm's got to come back in and he's got to play 23 minutes a night his first game. I don't see the reason for it. So if I want to bring him back in, I really think Spec, even when he's back up to speed, I think they're going to have a 5 defensive man unit. Main 5 guys. Emberson's your clear number 6. You're going to see Kulak and Wallman switching on left and right. And you're going to see at times, the minutes of some guys last year, I don't think it's going to be as high. I honestly believe that. I think there's going to be some situational pairings. So it's not always going to be, Bouchard and Ekholm are playing together come hell or high water all the time. I don't think we're going to see that.
Okay. Well, I don't mind that. And I think you're right. This is a team that will utilize 5 guys more and the 6th guy less. And, absolutely bringing Ekholm back slowly. Why are you putting him in on your first pair? There's no need to do that. So yeah, big picture. I guess the all roads lead to the same question. Who plays the right side on a defensive group where you basically have your righties are your first guy and your 6th guy? So Kulak shows he can do it. Wallman shows he can do it. They'll figure it out. I don't mind this defense, Jay. Wallman's a really nice addition. I've loved his game. Yeah. And know what Ekholm can bring. Nurse is having a hell of a season. He looks like a very, very good defenseman heading into the playoffs here. Bouchard's games coming around these last few games. He's playing a little quieter. I'd love to see him use that bomb of his a little more on the power play, but that's a conversation for another day. But I don't mind this decor right now. They're not bad.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong. I think that's why I said I thought the Jake Wallman trade, when people thought Edmonton was a loser at the deadline, I was like, no offense. I think you're a loser if you actually think Jake Wallman's a negative addition. I never understood it at all. Trent Frederick, I know, worked out last week. Spec, is going to be on the ice this week. I don't know if it means he skates on his own first or if he joins the team right away tomorrow. We'll find out then. But, and Frederick's getting closer. Saturday at the earliest, I would think, and but probably more realistic next Wednesday. But at least he's trending in direction to see him in the lineup, because I think he'll be another guy who's a welcome addition to this team.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, he's a known quality. This isn't a guy coming in where we go, well, I wonder this, I wonder that. Love Trent Frederick's game. He plays a hard game. He'll hit you in the playoffs. Without Kane in this lineup, we all know they're deficient in guys up front who throw the body around. Frederick's that guy. Like I say, I know no one fights anymore, but he'll keep the flies off of McDavid or Draisaitl the best he can. I think he plays in your top 6, don't you?
Well, that's where I would. But, Stan Bowman did say right on my show when I talked to him last Friday that, they kind of view him as a center. So if he's playing center, he ain't going to be in the top 6. So, so we'll see. I would love to see him on Draisaitl's left wing.
Sure. Absolutely. And there is a hole there. Like, God bless Bud Colson. He gives you everything he's got. But I think there's one spot on this team. I think, you talked about Henrique with McDavid for a couple weeks here. That's been working pretty well. Brian Nugent-Hopkins can always go there. They still never found the right left winger for Draisaitl. I'm totally with you. Frederick's the guy for me. I want to see him in the top 6. So I want to see him get top 6 ice time is what I want. I'm not that worried about what position he plays, but I'd rather see him playing in a position where he should be playing with one of the big guys, and he should be around when one of the big guys is getting abused.
Well, it wouldn't hurt. It always helps if you guys got, Vander Kane's the same thing when he comes back in. We'll see. Yep. Spec, I don't know if you had a chance to read my article today or not at Oilers Nation. Talked about Draisaitl, but more so the lead focus was on the power plays and just the massive drop. And like when you break it down per team and you see teams 60 fewer power plays this year than last, 56, 49, 55, like the West teams, the drop is significant. There's no rhyme or reason. There's nothing you can tell me that the players have gotten that much smarter and way better at knowing what the rules are this year compared to last. They just did you see the Dickinson hit on Hedl on Saturday night?
Yeah, that should have been a penalty.
Should have, dude. It's a 6-2 game. He ran the guy blatantly from behind, no call. It just illustrates how out of touch they are with calling a simple, obvious penalty.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't think it's a suspension. I don't think it's a 2-minute penalty. To me, it's a 2-minute. I will say, as long as guys are going to play their game with their back to the rink, there's going to be hits from behind. He didn't hit him that hard, but it was a penalty, especially in a 6-2 game. There's no need for it. And I know Vancouver people are crying because Hedl's out. He's got concussion issues. If he's got concussion issues, he should keep his head towards the rink where you can see who's coming. However, what got me in that piece he wrote was how many teams are over 50 power plays shy. Like, it's not just 1 or 2.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Sometimes a coach, a new system, this or that in one town, it can make a difference. But there's a whole bunch of teams that are coming way short on power plays this year. And, so what's cool to me, okay, you've identified the problem. Now the next step is, like, how come? What changed? Did it come from the top? Did Stephen Walkom's people say, okay, we're going to change the standard. It's going to be harder to have a power play. What do you think happened?
Well, I'm a firm believer in talking to people before that this is the NHL. Like, you heard the GM say, talking, oh, geez, you know what? It's really hard to be a goalie. Like, they believe that scoring's up. Scoring isn't up this year. Scoring's down. right? They're, shooting percentage is up. Yeah, because the NHL tracks shots properly now. And so guys who used to have 4 shots a game now have 3, right? Or those, so they're still scoring only 1 goal, but it's 1 less shot. So guess what? You have a higher shooting percentage. Just like why goalies have a lower save percentage because of it, because they're facing, instead of 30 shots, they face 27. They still allow 3 goals, but it's 3-0 shots and they're not counted anymore. So the NHL for the spec, how many? Oh, the game couldn't be in a better place. There's nothing wrong with the game. And you're just like, what? So as all the other leagues that you're competing with continue to find ways to add offense and entertainment, you go the opposite way. And they think it's okay. And now hockey fans keep paying all the prices. They keep going all the games. So I guess they can say, hey, no problem. But at some point, fans might have to say enough's enough, because it's just, it's foolish that the best skilled players are the ones who get punished when you don't enforce the rule book. Doesn't hurt the worst guys. It hurts the best guys who have the puck the most.
They're the guys that have the puck the most. So any leniency in penalties is going to hurt the best guys because they have the puck the most. There's no doubt about that. I'm not, it is. It's like I say, it fascinates me. Like, what's in it for the league to have less power plays? What's in it for the league to have, by having less power plays, you're going to have less goals? I think we'd all agree with that. Like, how does it help? Like, if there was an end game, they always say follow the money, right? If I could follow the money to a place where I understood this better, I'd probably have a stronger opinion, but I don't understand it. I don't see why less power plays is somehow better. Do you?
No, not at all. And hey, if in one game there's no infractions, great. I don't want to make up penalties. Just call the penalties that should be. Like, look at McDavid last night. Comes across the blue line, spec, gets hashed right on the stick, entering the zone of the power play, puck goes right off his stick, they ice it down. Now, why does he lose the puck? He never loses the puck when no one slashes his hands. That's a clear penalty by the rule book, but they don't call it. And I'm just using an example because most Oilers fans saw it, and those are the ones that are not called way more frequently again.
Yeah, and they'd called that same slash. They called a slash on Nugent Hopkins right off the start of the game. That, like, particularly the fact that Nugent Hopkins, I think it was a slash, right, about 50 seconds into the game or less.
Yeah.
The point that they call it 50 seconds into the game, that is the very definition of a precedent-setting call. Okay, kids, this is the standard tonight, right? And then they went away from that standard. There's a million more of those, and you're going to call that little slash 50 seconds in. I expect 5 power plays a team. Well, there wasn't. So, yes, I'm always a guy that wants to tell you that it's hard to be a ref, and the standard's hard, and it happens fast, and it ain't easy. But this is more an upstairs thing. This is, to me, this is a New York problem. This is coming from the league somehow. That's why I'd like to understand it more. What the heck's on? What is it? What's in it for the league to have less power plays and have the stars get hacked more? I just don't get it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. And to me, that's it's a problem that Players Association have to be aware of. Gentleman, I sent it to Bill Guerin today to read it because I guarantee you're Bill Guerin. You're like, wait a sec. My team has had 60 fewer power plays in 60, like 1 per game. That's a massive drop off, right? Like they got Kirill Kaprizov for a lot of time. Don't tell me they don't have some skilled players on that team, right? So like 60 in 67 games is like from 1 year to the next spec. Like I went through all of them. There's never been a drop like this. And it's, we saw a big uptick once, but the funny thing is, Spec, if you go back and look at the 2004 season, when everyone's like, there's too much obstruction.
No, when they changed the rule.
But in 2004, before they changed the rule, in 2004, the Nashville Predators led the NHL that year with 5.2 power plays per game. They were first. This season, the Ottawa Senators are first at 3.2 per game. And everybody said there was way too much obstruction. So you're telling me now that these players today, they never obstruct. They just don't break the rules and everything is unbelievable. Like, I don't buy it. I watch the games. I don't buy it.
it was easier to see back then. Back then, obstruction was, the stick in the abdomen that just slowed the player down. 30% of his speed was gone. Now it's a little different. It's just a slash in the hands. It's a slash in the stick, right? Like, then there's the other one. If you slash my stick and for some reason my stick doesn't break, you don't get a penalty. If you slash my stick a quarter as hard, but my stick does break, well, now you do get a penalty, right? Like, is that how we're officiating? By the strength of my hockey stick? Is that how we do this now? So,
yeah.
Right?
Evidently. Yeah. So it's, I wonder if they'll ever, like, when I listened to some of the quotes today coming out of the GM meeting, and they talked about, they're trying to, the offensive up and look at the numbers. And I'm like, what? Like, what bizarre world am I living in when you're trying to tell me that offense is up? It's not up. Offense is not, just because your 5-on-5 scoring is up. Yeah. Because your power plays are way down, but your overall offense is still lower. Even though you have fewer games decided in the shootout, your offense, think about that. More games decided in a shootout in 3-on-3 and still fewer goals. Like, there's, it's just ridiculous that they will try to push those out and people are going to be like, oh, nah, I'm a sheep. I'll just believe everything you say because it's not true.
We're up to 75% of the games being settled in overtime. So only 25% that end in a tie go to a shootout.
Yeah. This is great. Like, that's a good stat. Great. But that doesn't.
I think that we've all decided no one loves the shootout. It was kind of cool for a while there. If they go to an 8-minute overtime, then, there'll probably be even less shootouts, which is good. So, I guess that's getting us somewhere, but it's interesting. I know watching the Oilers play, there's a lot less 4 power play games than there used to be, man. There's a ton of nights where they get 1 or 2 this season.
Yep. Not good. Spec, have a great day. We will chat with you tomorrow when the Utah Hockey Club comes to town.
All right. Sounds good, Jake.
There you go. That is Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, Kevin Woodley. We're talking goaltenders, baby. Lots to discuss with the Woodman. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tibbersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
There's an old saying that goes, many hands make light work. We believe that at GS Construction. So what does it mean? It means a task is easier to complete when many people work together. It also means that GS Construction is preparing for the start of the 2025 season and is hiring. Currently, we're on the lookout for top men and pipe layers. So if you're one of those skilled pros who know how to do your job safely and efficiently, we're interested. Come join a team that's as solid as the infrastructure we build and maintain. Visit tsconstruction.ca today.
You may not see too many leprechauns at the Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert, but you just might see a feel-good friend. It's St. Patrick's Day, and the luck of the Irish is smiling upon ye with a special St. Patrick's Weekend Features menu. From March 14th to the 17th, you can tuck into bangers and mash, Irish stew and cabbage, and even shepherd's pie. You can also join the Ridge for a pint of green beer, of course, brunch, as well as food and drink features all weekend long. For more, go online to theridgeStAlbert.com. Sláinte!
From coast to coast, Napa Auto Parts is here to keep your car running longer and stronger, Canada. Did you know that Napa Auto Parts has close to 600 stores throughout Canada and over 90 years of history? Napa offers a wide range of quality replacement auto parts, accessories, supplies, tools, equipment, and proudly keeps Canadians moving day in, day out. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Monday worry of mean strike.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and projects, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Five 26 on a lovely Monday afternoon. How are you? NHL action tonight. 5 games on the schedule. Have a few with some big playoff implications. The Bruins, all of a sudden it's the playoff killers, the Buffalo Sabres. They take down the Oilers. They take down the Golden Knights, and they're leading the Bruins tonight 1-0 out, shooting them 6-1. They're all over them. They're like, yeah, you thought our season was over? Ha ha, we're going to get a higher draft pick. Flyers and Lightning, no score. Devils and Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets desperate for a win there tonight. And then you have Calgary in Toronto, and the late game has LA in Minnesota. The Kings 1 point back of the Oilers. They have 2 games in hand. And if they win both their games in hand on the Oilers and Vegas, then they'd be 1 back of Vegas, 3 ahead of Edmonton. So the race in the Pacific is very, very tight for a home ice advantage for both the first and second place team. So it's going to be a good push down the stretch. Now, let's get to our playoff push, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. See more at GMCCanada.ca. From In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Kevin Woodley joins us. Woodman, how you doing?
Well, I was doing good till you sort of ran through that Buffalo Sabre scenario, and then the Canucks reporter and me ended up in the fetal position because that felt like a lot of years around here. Right out of it, and then just go on a winning streak when none of it matters and the pressure's off, and mess up your draft position. It was pretty much the guiding philosophy of the Jim Benning era here in Vancouver. It was really hard to watch. So yeah, you basically scarred me.
Oh, well, hey, buddy, that happens. That's how it goes. A few things. Now, I talked to you to last week, and I know we crunched some numbers, and people were all like, "Oh my God, the Oilers failed. They should have got a goalie. They should have got a goalie." And I was like, "Yeah, could the goalies have made a few more saves? 100%." But the Edmonton Oilers last season under Chris Knobloch were second in high danger rush chances against 5-on-5. They were second in odd man rush chances against 5-on-5. This year, 17th and 18th, but as you outlined, 30th and 25th since January 1st. So you could make a strong argument that it was much more of a team defense issue than goaltending. And really, I think since that Montreal game, Edmonton's goaltenders, fine. They're actually quite good. Like Stuart Skinner had 1 rebound control off the stick of Thompson that, he'd probably like to save. Strud says, hey, as a D-man, you should never let a guy walk in from the blue line and get his own rebound. But other than that, I think their goaltenders have been fine. What about you?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I saw there in that same one. Like, yeah, you'd like to squeeze that one, but good on Stardy to call out how easy a path to the net Tage Thompson had afterwards. I'm with you, and it was actually quite eye-opening. I appreciate you asking me to look at those numbers. Obviously, the eye test for you watching it night in, night out tells you something's different. And when you run the numbers, especially since January 1st, lo and behold, like those are, I knew it had dipped and just had no idea to the extent. And it really does put some things in context. I think both things can be true. You need some more saves out of your goalies for sure at times. But that is not an environment. And here's the thing, there's sort of two sides. The positive is this team has shown they can defend that way in the past and adopt that identity. They did it for much of last season, and it was a big part of their playoff success. The flip side is if they don't, when I look for underlying numbers that predict playoff success, that's a big one. And it was a big part of why they did well last year. And unless they reverse it, it's not going to bode well for these playoffs. Doesn't matter who's in net. It's just you can't give away the free ones. And odd man rushes, rush chances in general, high danger off the rush, most of which are laterals, odd man rushes. Those are the free ones. Those are the giveaways. I'll go back to an anecdote from Robin Lehner when he went from Buffalo to the New York Islanders, and his numbers completely changed. And everyone's like, oh, he's remade his game and this and that. Yeah, he made some adjustments, but he said the biggest thing to me is in Buffalo, we gave up 4 or 5 odd man rushes a game. In New York, I get 1 every 2 games, maybe two every 2 games. He's like, even when I'm playing well, 2 of those 5 are going in Buffalo. Like, that's just the reality of the numbers, and nobody can tell. And so it was really interesting to see just how bad it's gotten in terms of those odd man numbers since January 1st in an area, they have to tighten down. And I think when they do, their goaltending will start to get better as well.
Yeah, and it's I want to see at the end of March, from March 1st, where they're at, because I've seen, especially here lately, much better effort defensively and no surprises. Now, the goalies have still had to make some key saves, and they have. Yeah. But when you don't have to make as many, obviously your odds of making a timely one go up a little bit more.
Well, let me run one other by you to keep an eye on. And again, eye test for you, because I end up looking at the numbers and I try and look at, some of the saves and some of the goals and stay on top of Oilers goaltenders. But often with the Canucks playing on same nights, I don't get to watch tip to tail. The one thing that, and we certainly experienced this in Vancouver, like a lot of people like to rip on defensemen when the odd man rushes go up like that. And it's kind of like poker, pool, playing pool. It's what you leave as opposed to what you make. And so much of the odd man chances can be decisions in the offensive zone, when to force, when not to, and often trying to force things, especially the offensive blue line, are where you make the types of turnovers that end up in odd mans the other way. And when the gaps aren't good or the forwards aren't back checking hard enough, it can put the defenseman in some pretty tough spots in those outnumbered situations.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, Kev, I want to get to a story that I don't see a lot of people talking about, but here in the month of March, suddenly in Colorado, Scott Wedgwood has started more games than Mackenzie Blackwood. Wedgwood has a .939 save percentage and a 1.5 goals against, while Blackwood has an .897 and a 2.6. What do you make of the fact that Wedgwood started more games than Blackwood this month?
That's interesting, and something I'm going to have to dig in a little bit more on with video to see what's happened to Blackwood's game. Maybe just fatigue in terms of the workload he had in San Jose, and then coming into Colorado. And because of a Wedgwood injury, he was playing a lot there early on. So maybe this is just backing off the gas pedal and a chance to let him reset and ramp him back up for the postseason. But this is what you get when Scott Wedgwood is on. And you saw the numbers are fantastic, but so are the highlight reels. Like, he's making some spectacular saves, and you can flip a coin on that. If it's happening too often, it means you're putting yourself in a position. Sometimes you just got to go outside the box and Superman it, because that's the type of chance you gave up. And other times you can put yourself in a spot where you got to Superman it because of how you played. And Wedgwood's got a lot of flow to his game, a lot more extra moving parts. He tends to run a little hot and cold. And that's what makes him remarkable, in that he's really developed himself into a really good backup guy too, who can give you a really good start every 2 weeks. And normally the guys that rely more on that rhythm and the timing, the extra moving parts in their game, they tend to struggle in that, but then play really well when you give them more starts. He's got the ability to do both, and it's full credit to him. he's been on the highlight reels a lot recently, and I need to sort of take a look and see, how much is him and how much of it is team. It's interesting. Like, I think everyone's seen the Linus Ullmark Superman save, diving headfirst across the crease. I think it was against Boston last week. Instant save of the year candidate on every highlight show. And there's an example where, and Linus even told you, he's just diving across and it goes in his glove. Full marks for honesty. But you can watch as the play goes out to the right dot, he steps out on that guy and gives himself so much more distance to cover coming across that he's essentially puts himself in a situation where he has to dive because he read the initial guy was shooting, not passing, and maybe trusted defense to take away the pass. Neither happens. He's got to fly through the air and make a save. And so I'd want to look a little bit more at all of these Wedgwood highlights I'm seeing and try and figure out, hey, how much is him just desperation moments that are called for because of the way the defending is happening in front of him, and how much of it is him putting him in spots where he needs to get desperate. But at the end of the day, he's got the ability to do both. He was kind of lost in the goalie changeover in Colorado, I think. Didn't start great in Nashville. Let's be honest. Nothing went well for anyone in Nashville, but he showed over his years in Dallas that he can do both. And so good for him for kind of, getting his feet under him, get his family set in Colorado finally, young family, and having some success there, which shows the Avs they have some options should they need them.
Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. It is something for you to dig in because I'm kind of interested to see. Maybe it's rest, but they're in a dogfight for home ice advantage, right? And so and Wedgwood's 4-0 and he's got a 939, so I could see you play him a little bit more. It's just kind of some interesting numbers.
And I will say this too, like his adjusted numbers right now on the season, and so much of that obviously since coming to Colorado. Like he's actually dead even with Blackwood at plus 1.4%. They're both flirting with the top 15 in the league. Actually, both flirting with top 10 when you filter out some of the guys that have only played a handful of games. So they're getting good goaltending from both guys. What really jumps out right now is the difference in environment. Wedgwood and Blackwood, it's subtle. Actually, it's pretty subtle. I misread that. I thought it was going to be 888 and 900, but they're both around 900. So the environment's good for both of them. That tells me that when I do look at that tape, there might be a little bit of both in there in terms of Wedgwood putting himself in spots with aggression on one side that requires some of the athleticism on the other.
Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. So, Kev, speaking of rest, I don't know if you've talked to anybody in Winnipeg, but do you see them? They got a big lead here. Are they going to Hellebuck's played what? I think he started 6 of the 7 games. I look for the Jets. I just wonder if they're going to start dialing him back a little bit here.
Fine line for them because he likes to work. And so you got to be careful how much you do it. You don't want to do it too much. And here's the thing. Like we talked about how much of a burden or how tiring, how draining mentally Four Nations was for a lot of guys and a lot of goalies and how hard the sort of recovery was from it. You guys obviously lived that. McDavid had the quote about it. We've seen it, in other cities where goalies that didn't even start in the tournament needed practice days off. Like it was a lot. I just spent a little bit of time today with Connor Halley and Eric Comrie and the Winnipeg Jets. They practiced here, and he kind of shrugs his shoulders at it. Like, yeah, it's 3 games. I'm not any more tired now than I was. Like the guy's a machine, and the Jets very quietly do a very nice job of managing his practice time in a way that doesn't overtax him. They're really aggressive in not being too aggressive with how much he is on the ice. And so, for example, tomorrow's an optional skate. I don't think we'll see him. Today in practice, he stayed out late, but he's having fun. Like watching him and Eric Comrie mix it up in practice today, some drills that weren't favorable to goalies, they turned it into a bit of a competition. They've got a really good thing going here, not just with Hellebuyck, but the relationship with Comrie, the relationship with the goalie coach, how they all feed off of each other. I haven't seen it in a while, Jason. Beer league goalies everywhere will know exactly what I'm talking about when they hear me say this. But, when you're playing a shinny game or whatever, and the guy at the other end of the ice makes a big save and the goalie starts banging his stick in appreciation, they do that in practice on the regular. And then if the guy that made the save feels like it really was good, he gives him a wave down the other end of the ice.
Nice.
The partnership, it was really fun to see. I'm like, I was having flashbacks to playing like my Monday night game, where we're always sort of cheering for the guy at the other end. And It was nice. I haven't seen that very often in the NHL. I can't remember the last time I heard the stick banging. And so when you talk to them about it, and this, it may sound fluffy, but when you talk to Halley about his rest and how they manage it and how they work together on that, like, everybody's on the same page. They do their meetings, their video reviews as a group of three. Goalie coach Hellebuck and Comrie. They're always learning off each other. It really is a special thing they have going with Lade Flaherty, the goalie coach there. And I think a big part of that is honest conversation about when too much is too much, when you need to rest him, and when you risk not angering him, but just maybe him feeling like he's not as sharp because he's not playing enough. Regardless of what the right answer is and where the right formula comes, it's going to be an open, honest, three-way discussion amongst all of them. And when I hear how he feels physically right now, and Adam Francilia, you've heard us talk about, he's here in town, checking in on both guys, both clients of his. Stuart Skinner works with him as well. He seems like he's in a really good place physically. And so I am not worried about the games played for Connor Hellebuyck coming into the playoffs. If they don't go well, like if for some reason the playoffs don't go well, I don't think that's going to be the reason why.
That's fair. Lastly, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Stolarz comes out and says, "Hey, man, kind of gave some tips to his team on how they need to play better." They've suddenly started leaking. There's lots of rumors swirling. If it's the Marner thing, I think that's probably just a guess. But what do you make of Wall and Stolarz? And if you're Craig Berube, would you split them in the playoffs or pick one guy?
Ooh, that is a really good question. They have gone back and forth. Stolarz, since he came back from injury, hasn't quite been the same guy. Wool has kind of been pretty steady. Like he's, flirting with top 20 in the NHL and adjusted save percentage, like sort of building on the numbers in a bigger role that he had shown in a smaller sample in the past. Maybe not quite to the same extremes of success, but still overall pretty successful. Stolar's numbers are still really good on the season, but since coming back from the injury, they're a little below expected, and so that's a little surprising. Interesting to hear him talk about environment because he still has one of the better ones in terms of at least the underlying numbers in the National Hockey League. Wool's a little bit below league average expected save percentage, but Stolarz is above. So that's interesting. And listen, like overall, you can have, a relatively easy workload based on these numbers, but still give up the grade A's. And if you give up too many of them, the ones that go in the net all the time, Jason, right? And those can be tough on goaltenders. And if there's only a few of a game, they all go in and nobody really, like the numbers don't change significantly. They're lost in sort of the larger sample, but the goalie knows he didn't have a chance on those. So I wonder if that's what we're seeing a little bit. But because overall, the numbers on their environment, even since January 1st, are really positive for him, and his performance just hasn't, frankly, by the numbers, matched up to it.
Kev, great stuff, man. We'll get you to dip into. I got a few questions for guys. I don't want to put you on the spot, but we'll give you some pre-homework for next week on specific ones. We'll look into Wedgwood and Blackwood and a few other ones as we start to we do know one matchup. I think there's one matchup that's pretty much locked in, and that is the Dallas-Colorado matchup. So we can start to look at goaltenders there and see that matchup. And, stylistically, we saw Colorado obliterate Winnipeg last year. Could they do it to Ottinger?
Well, and there's, for all the focus on what's going on in Colorado's crease, a lot of what's happening in Dallas is environment related as well. And there's some fair questions to ask. So I look forward to it. I apologize. Today was a little, no video, just on the phone, still downtown after the Jets practice and connecting with the goalies and Adam. But next week, full assignment. Canucks are out of town. Send me the homework. I'll be ready to go right out of the gate with video and everything.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
It's Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com. We'll take a quick break. We got a lot of text to get to. We'll go in the room and more next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Are you tired of waking up tired?
Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
86 deliveries made.
11 friends' houses moved. Oh.
9 renos completed, and the next one on its way.
Measure your Tundra's capability in memories, not just mileage. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $152 weekly for 60 months at 5.19% with $6,699 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Your paycheck is about to get bigger. With Budget 2025, the lowest taxes in the country are getting even lower. Alberta's government is introducing an income tax cut. This will save hardworking Albertans up to $750 per person and $1,500 per family every year. Lower taxes mean more money in your pocket. For the full details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
At Vision Credit Union, we've been around a long time. In fact, we've been serving rural Alberta communities for 75 years. We launched in 1950 with $128, 21 members, and a mission to help our communities. It's still our mission today. That's why we return 75% of Vision's profits to members, offer full-service banking in underserved rural communities, and prioritize contributing to charitable causes in our hometowns. We're here for good. VisionCU.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.547. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Lots more texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we're going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They always remind you to take action on your savings. If you've been thinking about it, sitting on the fence, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Well, now's a good time to get in for solar for your home or commercial building. And they can help you get the best deals and all the tax savings. ActionElectrical.net. Hey, boys, I'm still a bit worried about Hellebuck because he's yet to prove it in the playoffs. Well, he did go to the conference final the one year and beat the Oilers another year. So he's had some good years for sure. Last year obviously wasn't good. The year before that, the last 2 playoff runs haven't been great. And that will happen like in a short window. You know what? Especially teams do advanced scouting. And if you have a bad matchup, and I firmly believe that Colorado for Winnipeg was a bad matchup, that things like that can happen. So I would agree. I will say this, though. I think Winnipeg, they're going to take on Vancouver. They're going to take on Calgary. They're going to take on Utah. They're going to take on St. Louis. I'd have them as a heavy favorite against all of them. Now, once after that round, I wouldn't have them as a heavy favorite. Maybe slight. But then you're taking on Colorado or Dallas. And if you win there, then you're taking on Edmonton, LA, or Vegas. Like, doesn't get easier. The first round for Winnipeg, they put themselves in a good position that they, on paper, should have the easiest matchup. That doesn't guarantee a win, but man, I would take my chances. Like, if I could pick one team to be right now, it would be the Winnipeg Jets. I think they have clearly the easiest first round matchup. Now, their second round is going to be a dogfight. Dallas or Colorado. And they're probably hoping that those 2 teams go 7 games and just pound the hell out of each other. But we'll see. Hey, guys, why does everyone want to see a career-high 40-point, 18-goal scorer, Trent Frederick, in the top 6? It's laughable. He has never been a top 6 player. From Jorge. Well, Jorge, my man, I'm going to guess you're just going off the stat line and you've never watched many of the Bruins games, and that's okay. But keep in mind, Trent Frederick doesn't get power play points. Trent Frederick last season had as many goals 5-on-5 as Leon Draisaitl. Trent Frederick was second on the Bruins in 5-on-5 scoring. He was 73rd amongst NHL forwards in 5-on-5 scoring. So 73rd, if we just do the math, and I know not every team has 2 guys, but even if 15 teams have 4 guys, then he's still in there. So yes, Trent Frederick is a top 6 forward based on his last 2 years. Because the year before that, same thing. He just doesn't play a lot of power play time. He kills penalties, but he's a decent, because a good producer 5-on-5, a top 6 forward, now not the top guys, right? He's not Draisaitl, he's not McDavid, he's none of those guys, but not Zach Hyman. Although, what if he plays a year with Draisaitl? What could he do? So I look at Trent Frederick, and I firmly believe the last 2 years showed me he can be productive as a top 6 forward. He's a complimentary top 6 forward. He's not a driver. There's very few drivers in the NHL. Hyman's not a driver, and he's a really good player, but he's not a driver. Like I think the term driver, at times people just assume there's lots of drivers. There's not a lot of drivers because it's hard to be a driver at the NHL level. But Trent Frederick, without question, for me, is a top 6 productive forward. And I want to see what he could do playing with Leon Draisaitl. He did that last year. He didn't play the Draisaitl. He's playing with the Charlie Coyle. No offense, Charlie Coyle, but he ain't Leon Draisaitl. So now Frederick, obviously, when he returns, he'd been out for a while. Maybe they'll play him at center. I would just like to see him there. He's more productive. Like, I got to look at Nugent Hopkins. How many years is Nugent Hopkins, being more productive than him 5-on-5? Right? Frederick's, he's not a power play guy again, so he's never going to put up huge numbers. But if you just look at 5-on-5 players that don't play on the power play, he's a top 6 forward. No question. Greg's, when do you think he'll be back? I'm going to guess not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. I think there's a chance this Saturday, but he was working out last week. And here's the thing, like, maybe they look and say, hey, we play Saturday. That gives him 3 days to rest. We'll see how he feels. If he passes all, because he has to pass all the tests. And if he gets the green light from the doctor by Friday, then he could play on Saturday. He's not playing tomorrow. And I think Thursday's too soon. So I would think Saturday is the best first case scenario. And I think next Wednesday, almost for sure, unless there's some sort of setback. But last I heard is trending in the right direction in that regard. Other injuries for Ekholm, we'll find out tomorrow if he's going to go or not. Debatable tomorrow, if not Thursday for sure. Again, I think the Oilers are in a position here. They don't have to rush him back. The Jake Wallman addition has given them a little bit of time to not have to scramble to get him back in. So that's a good thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing Frederick in the lineup, man. Imagine I've said this all along. You had Frederick and Kane, and that just changes such a dynamic for your team to augment the intensity of your group. Because I think it'll raise other guys up, and I think it'll be a good problem. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves an awesome Monday. Enjoy the games tonight, whatever you're watching. We'll be back tomorrow, Utah and the Oilers. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Ewell, our partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, one-stop shop, ewel.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice tonight in the NHL, 4 of which are underway after 20 minutes. Bruins do the Sabres 2-1. Lightning up on the Flyers 1-0. Nikita Kucherov with his 29th of the season. Devils and Jackets are scoreless. And midway through the first, Max Domi has the Leafs on top of the Flames 1-0. Later tonight, Kings take on the Wild. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock in the association. The Toronto Raptors head to the desert to take on the Suns. Tip off 8 o'clock. One game going on right now. The Heat lead the Knicks 14-10 early on in the first quarter. Later this evening, Rockets host the Sixers, Pacers in Minnesota, Jazz up against the Bulls. The Grizz head to Sacramento. Trailblazers take on the Wizards, and the Spurs in Los Angeles for a meeting with Luka and the Lakers. Dallas Mavericks forward Anthony Davis heading to the G League to get some 5-on-5 work as he prepares to return from injury. Davis will be working with the Texas Legends, the Mavericks G League affiliate. In the majors, Jose Barrios will be getting the ball when the Jays kick off their season on March 27th against the Baltimore Orioles, the second straight season he's gotten the opening day start. And the Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to terms with outside linebacker Azeez Ojulari on a one-year contract for $4 million. The team also keeping tackle Lane Johnson in green for another year. That'll keep him through the 2027 season. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio overnight. And tomorrow morning, we're back with live local coverage. It'll be the Kevin Carius Show starting at 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.